I heard my roommates talking bad about me, so I confronted them.
Break the lease.
I, 20 female, live with 3 boys, 20 to 24 male, and 1 other girl. Up until this point, we were all pretty friendly. Yesterday, I overheard the 3 guys talking downstairs. I don't think they knew I was home. They were talking about how slutty I dressed and laughing. One of them said I must be so desperate to hook up with one of them. Honestly, break the lease. And they were making jokes about which one of them it is. By the way, this comes from SluttyGirl55, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Riley.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, I'm so upset. I generally wear shorts and a tank top around the house just because they're comfortable. Sometimes when it's hot, I'll wear crop tops. I don't purposely dress schmanxy, just picture your standard H&M or Forever 21 outfit. I've seen the guys walking around downstairs in boxers or with their shirts off. It wasn't a big deal to me, so I just assumed we were all cool. Why is it okay for them to be in their underwear, but not for me to wear my everyday clothes? Additionally, one of them has a girlfriend who dresses exactly the same, if not more revealing than me. Very low-cut shirts, short shorts, etc. It's totally fine that she dresses this way, but I don't get why she's fine, but I'm a slut, because he's dating her. And they all see you as romantic or schmexual object. That's why they're bringing it up, and it's not okay. And here's the kicker. I'm in a long-distance relationship with my girlfriend because I'm attracted to the same gender. What do? I don't feel like I'm in the wrong, but I'm so uncomfortable with the idea of being around them, knowing that they're thinking about how much of a slut I am and how I'm desperately trying to spicily attract them. And there are some relevant comments, but what do you think?
I honestly think confronting is like the way to go, because it is interesting to see, and this can happen to anybody, but I think particularly with males and male friend groups, it is genuinely interesting to see what they will say and how they will behave with each other.
Exactly.
Versus when they're not like all hyping each other up. And it's like what's happening is not acceptable in any way. And you need to make that clear. But it's also like sometimes I do think that they kind of need that reality check that is somebody just being like, hey, that hurt
okay at all.
And like that made me uncomfortable, to kind of get them out of their like locker talk. Haha, we're all just joking around. And be like, ooh, we actually like made someone not feel good.
Absolutely. Even if that, like, I think you still have 100% the right and maybe should leave this, you know, place. But I think that, you know, just having that moment where you're like, that was not okay. Like, call them out. Make them feel bad. Make them feel as uncomfortable as they made you feel.
Yeah.
Deleted says, I think next time you see one of them in boxers or shirtless, you should say, dude, you're dressing pretty slutty today. That's so funny. You must be so desperate to hook up with someone in the house. Who is it? Then when they look at you like you grew 2 heads, laugh, and for them, they're gross, but you don't give an F because you wouldn't sleep with sniggering, spineless morons even if you were into men. I'd let other people give actual good advice, but a lot of what's been offered so far seems to be along the lines of boys will be boys. Who's offering that? With a helpful side of order of, well, maybe you do dress slutty. It's pretty sad that it's plumb normal for men to objectify and demean women who are meant to be their friends. I wouldn't be friends with people who talked about me this way. Edit. Maybe I was a bit vitriolic in the post, but the situation ground my gears. Not over tonight says, are you willing to confront them? If you are, I think you should approach them and say, hey everyone, I overheard you yesterday. You guys have a problem with the way I dress? I'm pretty conservative, but your outfits don't sound bad. Do the shorts cover your stuff? No cheeks hanging out? Do the tank tops have a decent amount of coverage? Yada yada. OP says, ha ha ha, yes, my lumps are completely covered. I have a bunch of the standard H&M tank tops. Not sure if links are allowed here, but if you Google it, it's the first result, which actually have very thick straps and are relatively not revealing in the front airbag department. I also wear these outfits when I go out, to class, etc., and no one's ever had a problem with it. No parents have covered their children's eyes when I walk past. I guess the mature thing would be to confront them, but the idea kind of stresses me out. Maybe because there are 3 of them and only 1 of me. That's a fair thing.
That's super fair.
And also, you already know that, you know, they're thinking about you in this way. I think if you had someone that you could bring with you, a person that you trusted.
Or even like, I wonder too if there's one that you know or trust more than every other one. like pulling them aside and being
Yeah.
like, hey, like I overheard this,
Yeah.
and then you're not dealing with all three at once.
Exactly. Yeah. And maybe, I think, kind of going back to your point, I think there are times, not that this excuses it, but I think there are times when someone kind of jumps on the bandwagon and isn't necessarily the leader in that conversation. So yeah, maybe there is someone that you could be like, that was not okay.
Yeah.
Maybe if it happens again, I'll bring it up. Thanks for the advice, though. Vinay says, what does your female roommate think of all this? She'd be good backup to have on your side when you confront these a-holes. OP says, God, I don't even know if I can confront them. I didn't do anything, but I'm still so embarrassed about the whole situation. I haven't talked to her about it, but I might tomorrow. We're not super close, but maybe she'd be sympathetic. But there is an update 3 days later, but I think that you can't just let this pass. This is not normal behavior.
Because, and it's for multiple reasons. So it's like you said, you don't want it to get worse. Like, you don't want to wait to see what the escalation of this is.
That's frightening. But there is an update 3 days later. Before I posted, I was basically set on hiding awkwardly in my room or maybe dressing more conservatively when I left my room. No. After I saw all your responses, I was filled with feminist body positivity rage. These boys were not going to get away with slut shaming me, nor should they. Of the 3 guys, I'm closest with Tom, boy 1 of 3. So I decided to talk to him individually. Look at you go.
There you go.
Giving advice that they're taking. I heard him coming up the stairs and I just took a deep breath and walked out of my room, smiled, and asked if I could talk to him for a minute. He came into my room and we were just making small talk. I shut the door, summoned all of my assertiveness, and said, so I actually have something weird to talk to you about. I heard you guys talking about me the other day. I'd like to say that I threw down with this boy, that I told him that sexism is not cool or funny and I won't put up with it and demand that he apologize. But instead, I cried a lot. Me too, though.
That's so valid.
I mean, these people betrayed your trust and made you and demeaned you. It's fair. Crying is a normal response. I straight up just broke down. I couldn't even speak. Tom looked absolutely devastated. He immediately apologized, said I wasn't supposed to hear any of that, but I wasn't really paying attention because I was just trying to get a grip on myself. There's nothing more awkward than crying in front of someone when you're not on that level yet. Anyway, I asked him if that was really what he thought of me. He said no, that they're just being dumb, and that when Sam, boy 2 of 3, brought it up, he was really surprised and knew it was wrong, but he didn't call him out on it. And Sam's probably attracted to OP. That's probably, like, you know, where that's coming from. He's into her, knows that she can't be, and it will never be, and is therefore trying to bring her down. That's my read on that.
Yeah. Or like trying to bring down, or I wonder how much it's also to like, this feels like a safe thing to joke about because you know it's not a thing. So like even just from like, oh well, it's fine because it's not. And I will also say, like, just take this as an opportunity. I feel like not to get preachy on the channel, but like, I don't know, it is hard to call somebody out when somebody says something that's uncomfortable. But like, I feel like this is a really good lesson to everybody, like us included, of like, man,
people will surprise you.
Yeah, how many times, like, just a simple like, I don't like that. That's usually what I do. That's mine. Is like, I'm like, I didn't like that.
He said he should have, and he knew he should have, but he didn't want to make a big deal about it because Sam and Bob, boy 3 of 3, were just joking around, even though they were being mean. He said it was crappy of him not to call them out, and that by not saying anything and acting like it was funny, he allowed it to happen. He said that he has no excuse, and he's sorry. This checks out from what I heard. It was mainly Sam and Bob saying the bad stuff. I said I knew they were just joking around, but it made me feel horrible to be talked about that way, and that the really slapped me in the face. He agreed and said it was horrible, and he also said something like, not that it's an excuse, but you're really pretty, and I think that's why we were talking about you that way. None of us actually believe what we were saying, but I think it was just wishful thinking, and we were idiots about it. So for all of you guys who were suggesting that they were attracted to me, bingo, yeah. I laughed and told Tom that I had a girlfriend. He said that was totally cool.
He said,
and I love that.
Love is love.
And then looked embarrassed and said they must have looked like complete idiots bragging about how much I wanted to sleep with them. Tom asked if there was anything he could do to make up for it. I told him not to tell the other guys anything because I don't really want to talk about it anymore, but if they ever start talking about another person like that, even if it's not me, to speak up. He promised me he would and apologized about 90,000 times and left. I heard him go into his room and then immediately leave and go out the front door. I didn't think much of it and put my headphones in and played Trackmania for a while. Later that day, I opened my door and there was a big cardboard box right outside my door. My first thought was that I'd ordered something from Amazon and forgot about it, but it looked like like a used box that someone had repurposed and taped shut. I dragged it into my room and opened it. Guys, it was a bouquet of flowers and a cake with the word sorry written on it.
That is class.
That's class,
That is
right there.
class.
That's class. If you're thinking that I cried for the second time in 3 hours, well, you're right. Anyway, I'm sorry I didn't throw down with them like so many of you wanted. Unfortunately, I am but a tiny crim puff. I'm working a lot on being more assertive, but in this scenario, I handled it as best as I could. Confronting Tom about it was actually super scary, but I'm proud of myself for bringing it up at all. And I gotta bring up that you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
I think just my only thing is like it's interesting. She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry I didn't throw down." Like, I think also throwing down is not the ideal. Like, you don't want to throw down. You want to confront somebody, have them go, "Oh shoot, yeah,
I've
you're
hurt
right,"
you.
and then be done. Like, it's a blessing to not have to throw down.
Yeah.
Be able to if you need to, but yeah, I think that this was honestly the better outcome.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you want to be comfortable in your own house.
Yeah.
The only thing that I would say is I hope that Tom can sooner rather than later confront these guys about it, because I worry that they still have these sentiments, and I want you to be the most comfortable you can be in your own house and not have to worry about what you're dressed, what you're wearing. That's it. And we've got another bit of this story to read. I accept Tom's apology. He seems genuine, and this does seem like a one-off crappy behavior situation. He's usually a pretty stand-up guy. The other guys, I don't know. To be honest, I wasn't super solid on them to start with, so I feel like I'll just continue to not pursue a friendship with them, and I'll continue to dress however I want. Lastly, serious thanks to all of you for your responses. I was hesitant to post this on Reddit, because Reddit can sometimes be not so nice about women's issues, but y'all are cool. That's the end of that story.
My roommate moved her homeless boyfriend in, so I reported them.
He's gonna have to stay homeless unless he can pay.
I, 30s female, have been renting a house with my longtime friend for 2 months now. We're both on the lease, but I paid the deposit, the move-in costs, and roughly 75% of all living expenses. By the way, this comes from user Eric Sanderson. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Riley.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give you good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. So if you would do something different, let us know in the comments. And OP says, yes, I know this is dumb. My friend doesn't make much money and was in a bad situation, and she couldn't live here without being on the lease. We've lived together for almost 3 years, and it's been fantastic. I had moved to a new city, and she knew lots of people and helped me establish a social life. I had no problem with the arrangement until now. She recently and tragically lost her dog, who was like a child to her, and she has been spiraling ever since. She's wasted all the time, starting fights and hurling insults. We had basically stopped talking when about a month ago she met some random guy. I don't know much about him, but what I've seen isn't great. 2 weeks ago, she got a DUI and this guy bailed her out. The next day, he came back to our house with her and spent much of the day there. Then he started coming here every day, taking up the living room and walking around with no shirt on. So he's walking around with no shirt on. I avoided them as much as I could, and we never exchanged words. The guy gives me the creeps. He's large, maybe 6'4" on the heavier side. His vibe is just... 6 days ago, he spent the night here. Then he stayed over the next night, and the next night. And the following morning, I told my roommate that it's not cool to be taking up the house and having her boyfriend stay over for long stretches. I told her he made me uncomfortable, and she basically said it's her boyfriend and her house and she can do what she wants. I told my roommate it seemed like her boyfriend was attempting to stay here long term, and I pointed out that our lease limits guests to 14 nights in a 6-month period. This is where things changed and where I need advice. My roommate has now started saying things like, I feel threatened, I feel unsafe, and I need my boyfriend here for protection. There is no truth to any of it. I've been leaving the house every evening after work and only coming home around 11 or 12, completely avoiding all contact with both of them. The only contact we've ever had was one evening when I came home around 11, and they were smoking the devil's leaf on our front porch. He was once again basically in his underwear, and I asked him to please wear clothes when he's in the common areas of the house. That's the only thing I've ever said to him. It seems like she's using this as some kind of legal defense strategy and is planning to tell our agent and the owners that I'm some kind of danger to her and she needs her boyfriend here for protection when they tell her he needs to go. Yesterday, her boyfriend showed up at 4 p.m. while I was still working from home and spent the rest of the day and night here. He's literally waking up, going to work, coming back to our home. He's living here. So I got curious. Last night when I got home, I looked through the window into his SUV. It's filled, and I mean filled, with clothes and hangers. It looked exactly like a car someone is living out of. Maybe I'm being crazy, but it seems like this dude is homeless and manipulating my roommate into moving into our house. Her sudden shift in language, all the talk about threats and protection, is not like her, and it feels completely divorced from reality. It seems like she's being coached. I've spoken with our agent, who I'm friendly with, and she's aware of the situation. She's seen the guy's car here every day and said she'll be messaging my roommate about the guest rules today. My concern is that my roommate is going to start lying and accusing me of making her feeling unsafe, telling the agent she needs her boyfriend here for protection. I'm not super concerned that it'll work, but I am worried that the agent and owners might look at the situation and decide it's not worth the hassle and just cancel the lease. I really like this house and don't want to move. I've already changed the Wi-Fi password, I pay all the utilities, and locked up all my possessions, which include plates, cookware, and silverware. I am just out of options at this point and wondering if anyone has been in a similar situation. We have an update, honestly, and I think let's just get right into it.
If you want to get out of it, here's a pipeline.
All right.
Landlord, tall friend.
A tall friend of your own.
Yes. You got to have your own giant to fight the other giant. And then, conversation, exit. To your left, out.
Maybe,
Can
yeah.
you do that dance again?
Maybe you do.
To your left,
Beyonce.
out.
Beyonce. He is Beyonce.
I did not say that, and she got that from me.
One more theory before we get into that update.
Dude, you know how I feel about theories.
So this guy, you know, he's looking for a place to stay. He's looking for a place to live. Why don't you make a little treasure map? All right, you find you can plant it. You can plant a treasure map. Find it in the backyard. Right. Get the ancients in and get the owners in on it too. The owners be like, "You found a map? What? Is there a name? Are there any names on the map?" And then there's like, "Yeah, it's the believable name, a believable name, the McWright,
Blackbeard,
the McWrights,
Yeah,
McWrights, yeah, yes."
McCarty's.
And they're like, "Oh my God, the McCarthy map. They buried a house somewhere, and we never knew where." And you give that map to that shirtless, pantsless man, and he'll run out of the front door like a big baby, following those lines, getting to those X's, and the X is just police station.
Boom. Easy.
And he gets arrested for public nudity because he's not wearing any clothes. Because that's
You
what
can walk around in your
he doesn't
underwear.
like wearing
You
clothes.
can walk around.
Not in this version of the story.
Oh, got it. My bad.
In this,
Because I'll be walking around the street. You
it's
know,
a municipal code, local code from where they live. Yeah. And that might work.
All right. Well, I might work into the update.
Yeah, let's get into that update. Let's see what really works. Yeah? Okay. They trashed the kitchen and bathroom daily, forcing me to clean up after them just to be able to cook and shower. I begged her to stop, but she refused, and our friendship completely collapsed. Things became extremely antagonistic. Our landlord, who lives next door, repeatedly reminded her that our lease prohibits guests from staying over more than 14 times in 6 months. Unfortunately, we never had a signed rental agreement between us, so I was stuck paying 75% of the bills while she and her boyfriend basically took over the house. She made it clear she wasn't going to leave or break the lease. She knew neither of them could get a place on their own and didn't know what to do. I locked up all the pots, pans, and dishes. They were all mine. Hid all of my laundry detergent and dryer sheets. They had no TV, no internet, and were using a cheap $3 saute pan and paper plates to cook with, but they kept on living there. Luckily, I've been friends with our landlord since we moved in, and she was just as upset with him living at the house as I was. So she sent my roommate a formal notification that if the boyfriend stayed over beyond 14 days, they would evict us. My roommate said she understood and that he would be gone after the 14th day, but sure enough, on day 15, he was right back at the house. We had a confrontation, which I filmed, and her boyfriend charged at me and tried to attack me, but my roommate held him back. I was actually kind of hoping he would hit me, okay, Joker, so I could get the cops involved, but he just stormed out and slammed the door. I spoke with a cop friend, and she told me it unfortunately wasn't enough to seek a protection order. After that, he stopped staying over, but continued to basically live at our house, arriving around 3 p.m. and leaving at 11 or 12. I was miserable and just accepted that this would be my life until the lease ended next summer. But 2 weeks ago, I finally caught a break. She messed up and had her boyfriend stay over again. I documented it and sent proof to the landlord, and she texted me back saying, "Woohoo! You're free!" An hour later, my landlord sent both of us a notice of eviction, instructing us that we both had to be out by the end of October. My roommate and I happened to be at the same sports bar, a huge multi-story place with dozens of mutual friends, when the notice came in. She came upstairs screaming at me, cursing me out, and telling everyone that I had gotten us evicted because I went whining to the landlord. She and her boyfriend left and went to the landlord's house, freaking out and saying that she'd be homeless and wouldn't be able to rent a place with an eviction on her record. She even tried to convince the landlord to just evict me and let her boyfriend move in instead, saying that I was the one causing all the problems. Who is this person?
I love your perception of the world because it's just crackle-doodle-doo.
Like, you have friends?
The reason you don't have plates is because your roommate locked them up. 'Cause you've been making a mess. You get that? I've heard a few stories of people locking up like silverware. But it got to that point, dude. Oh man. You can't reason with a fool.
That's true.
Can't do it.
Can't do it. So, of course, the landlord said no, but told her she could avoid the eviction if she agreed to break the lease, move out at the end of the month, and not have her boyfriend over at all in the meantime. If he showed up, the landlord would immediately send a 7-day eviction notice, and we'd be out within a week. After that, my roommate and her boyfriend basically disappeared. I think at first she thought that if they stayed away for a bit, things might cool down and he could start coming to the house again. But at some point, something must have changed. Either they realized there was no path forward or they found someone else to stay with. And by the way, you can always stay listening to full episodes with stories like this on your favorite podcast platform, iHeartRadio. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is, just search OK Storytime. And you've got enough stories to listen to for almost 3 consecutive months. There's a little bit more story here. Well, hey, the trash took itself out. Change the locks.
Goodness gracious.
Change all the locks. Tell your landlord to change the locks.
I can't believe people have to live like this, you know? It's just, Carly, have you had a bad roommate?
Yeah.
How did you get out of that situation? Like, did it take a lot? Because it seems like it took a lot for this person to get out of that situation.
Actually, pretty conveniently, I think any time that's happened, someone's just moved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yikes. Have you had bad
Whether
roommates?
like back across the country or whatnot.
Got it.
I've had like situations, but nothing like this where it's like just like outwardly like horrific.
Got it.
Like, I think I told a story once. I had a roommate where we were playing video games and he was getting annoyed because he was losing because I was playing by his rules, and his rules were dumb. So I was playing by his rules, and then he threatened to take his TV away. He threatened to take the TV away into his room because it's his TV.
Nice.
And he did that as like a 20-year-old, which
Lovely.
whatever.
He's still a boy.
But yeah, nothing like this.
Golly.
Nothing
Guys,
even close.
Put some
I was gonna say.
put some taglines of like 2 sentences of your worst roommate situation.
I'm trying to think of like any advice I can give without giving away
Nah, give it away.
who the roommate was.
Give it away. I'll send it to the roommate. We don't even care. We'll back you up, Carly.
Well, I had one roommate where we had like a week of fighting, and she ended up like going to live with a fiance, like
Nice.
right after. So it kind of fixed itself.
All right. Heck yeah. Heck yeah, fiance.
Let's go fiance. Okay, fiance time. All right, let's finish the story. About a week ago, they came to the house and started packing up some of her stuff from the garage. Yesterday, my landlord said my roommate had agreed to break the lease at the end of the month. I just signed a new lease today and will officially have my home back on November 1st. Not sure what the lesson is here. Definitely be cool with your landlord, and always sign a separate rental agreement with your roommates before you enter into a lease together. Relevant comments. Comment number 1, this was a longtime friend or just 3 years. It's really sad that the friendship just went to crap. Did you ever have a heart-to-heart before things got as bad as they did to see why the sudden changes in how she was treating you? I know it sucks losing a pet, but throwing away a long-term friendship over it is odd. OP replies, we've been friends for many years. We had one period after moving in where we had a heart-to-heart, and she agreed to start being more respectful. That lasted for all of 2 days. It may have started with her dog, but it became all about the boyfriend. It's one of those high school, codependent, us against the world kind of relationships. She lost her license, so she spends literally every free minute of every single day with him. She's now extremely self-centered, mean, disrespectful, and completely lost to the world. It's really sad, but she's not the girl I knew anymore. And that's the end of that story.
My roommate said I'm ruining her relationship because her boyfriend is scared of my dog.
Maybe she needs to look in the mirror.
I, 23 female, have narcolepsy and use a service dog who alerts me before sleep attacks. I've had her for 2 years and she's changed my life. My roommate, 19 female, and I have lived together for 6 months with no issues. And we have an editor's note. Narcolepsy is a chronic neurological disorder that affects the brain's ability to control sleep-wake cycles. By the way, this comes from Celie I. Fox, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Sophia.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. Last week, she told me her boyfriend, 30 male, is moving in. I said okay, but asked that we all sit down to discuss house rules since it's a big change. During that conversation, he said he's uncomfortable with dogs.
Then don't move in.
And wants her crated whenever he's home? I explained she's a service dog, not a pet, and that she needs to be with me to do her job. He said he gets that, but his comfort matters too since he's paying rent.
Dude, you're not paying rent yet. And also, OP should honestly say, well, then I don't want you to move in. Because you're not on a lease. I never agreed to this.
He suggested I could keep her in my bedroom only, but she needs to move freely to alert me wherever I am in the apartment. I said no. This is a medical accommodation, not a negotiation. Now my roommate is saying I'm being inflexible and ruining her relationship because her boyfriend is reconsidering moving in.
Yes, he should.
She said I'm choosing a dog over her happiness and that I'm being selfish since it's her apartment too. My sister thinks I should just try to keep the dog in my room more often to meet them halfway.
No.
I told my roommate either the dog stays as is or I'm moving out. Now she's crying that I'm abandoning her and that she can't afford rent alone. Am I overreacting? Also, make him pay rent
Yeah,
then.
he said he was.
We have some relevant comments. Commenter 1, not overreacting. It is illegal to separate you from a service animal. I had to stand my ground against my family for the same reason. Only my dog senses my seizures before they hit. OP says, exactly. No one understands that part. My dog doesn't bother anyone. She barely even barks. And I always look after her. There shouldn't be an issue. Commenter 2 says, is he on the lease? If he's not on the lease, I would not agree to him being put on the lease or moving in. You might want to check your lease agreement and make sure there's nothing about unauthorized long-term stays from people as well. Some leases have clauses like this, and you'll want to make sure you aren't breaking the lease agreement by allowing him to move in. OP said, I didn't want to be a rude roommate and snitch. She's nice, and we have handled everything verbally. If this continues, I will look into my lease. Thanks, I didn't even think of that. Commenter 3.
Putting your health and safety is non-negotiable. Perhaps if he meets the dogs and watches how the dog interacts around the space and people, he might be able to understand how the dog will be less concerned with him and more concerned about ensuring you're well informed about your own health. OP responds, when we sat down and talked, he told me he was once attacked by a group of dogs when he was younger. He's been going to therapy recently to help overcome that fear and many other things. And he even cried when he was telling me the story. Regardless, my dog is so sweet, but I don't think letting him around my dog is the best decision anymore. Commenter 4, please don't let him move in. You'll come home one day and your dog will be gone, escaped, while you were out sleeping or whatever. OP says, that's what I'm saying. He's already showed dissatisfaction for my dog. What if he ends up doing something? I just don't want him there anymore. Commenter 5 says, stand your ground, not overreacting. If this guy doesn't move in, it's probably better for you and your roommate. OP says, I agree. I try my best to be a good roommate, but another person in the house seems like a lot to deal with, and we have an update. Am I overreacting for refusing to crate my service dog so my teenage roommate's 30-year-old boyfriend feels comfortable? Part 2. First off, thank you guys for all the comments and advice on my last post. I appreciate everyone who told me to check my lease, stand my ground, and yes, even the people who said to call him a hobo, which I'm definitely not doing, lol. Honestly, I did not expect things to turn out like this. I'll link the previous post in the comments for those interested. So after our fight, my roommate asked if we could all have another talk at the apartment. I agreed, hoping it would ease up the tension since we still had to live together while I figured out my next steps. We sat down in the living room. She immediately apologized for how everything went down and talked about how she'd been doing a lot of thinking about her relationship and living situation. About 5 minutes in, her boyfriend showed up with a bag full of dog treats and a full charcuterie board. He sat down and immediately apologized. He told me that he talked about the entire situation in his therapy session, and it helped him realize how he was being completely unreasonable about the situation. He said he'd been selfish and ignorant about what service animals actually do. He said he would prefer to stay with her because he's in the process of buying a home. He thinks it would take about 3 to 4 months before he can close on the house he wants, and doesn't want to renew his current lease for another full year. Then he says if he still moves in, he wants to pay half my rent and cover all my dog's food going forward.
Dang. Okay. This is going in a very different direction than I thought.
He called it the least I can do for being an a-hole about a disability accommodation.
Okay. I guess.
My roommate nodded and said they'd discussed it and agreed. They both seemed genuinely sorry. I told him it's something I need to think about. He says he completely understands that he's going to give us our space, and then he left. My roommate and I decided to take the charcuterie board and go on a picnic for the day at a nearby park.
Okay, this was like, I was really expecting this to crash and burn.
Me too.
And now they're having a charcuterie board? Okay.
We both agreed it was best for us to just enjoy our time together, and that I should sleep on it before I make any decisions. She said she wants me to be as comfortable as possible, which honestly made me feel a lot better. The offer is really generous. We're talking like $600 plus a month between the rent and dog expenses. But I keep thinking about whether this will last or if the complaints will start again once he's settled in. My sister, who told me to compromise before, now says I should take the deal because free rent is free rent. But my mom thinks it sounds too good to be true and I should still move out. Am I the a-hole for still being hesitant even after the apology and extremely generous offer?
No.
We have some comments.
I don't think you're overreacting or anything. I think that it's very smart to be cautious.
It's a very quick switch from
super quick,
super against it to I will pay part of
I'll
your
pay
rent.
more. I would be wary.
Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Why do you have a teenage roommate? OP says, last year of college at off-campus housing.
I don't think that it's that crazy to be like a 23-year-old and 19-year-old living together.
Commenter 2. It does sound too good to be true. Will your dog be safe? OP says, that is the most important question. Commenter 3. Do not take the bait. OP says, I don't want to, but to be honest, it would really help me financially. Commenter 4 says, $2K for being an a-hole seems unlikely. And if the house plan is legit, is your roommate moving out then too? OP says, I think she would finish up her lease here and then move out after, so technically yes. Commenter 5 says, it does sound too good to be true. He probably means it for now, but next month he'll be complaining about it. I'd tell them I appreciate the apology and the offer, but I'd still be moving out. Nothing personal. You just can't expect anybody to follow through on an offer like that. OP says, someone suggested I get a contract. What do you think? Commenter 6 says, not overreacting. Look into getting a contract for it with a time limit on how long he's allowed to stay, etc. OP says, oh my god, exactly. If he's actually getting better and willing not only to pay half of my rent, but also all of my dog's food, and he did say 3 to 4 months only. I'm thinking about putting this in a contract and see if he would actually sign. And we have an update.
Yeah. I think you see if he would sign it, and then if he doesn't, then you move out.
And if he does, then cool, he's obligated now.
Yeah.
He's gotta. Am I overreacting for thinking my roommate's boyfriend is just going to stay over constantly after I said he can't move in? No. Thank you to this community for all the help. I think everything is going back to normal now, but I need advice again. Sorry, my life is so messy right now. Okay, so I slept on it like I said I would, and this morning I asked my roommate if we could talk privately. I told her I really appreciated the apology and the conversation we had, but after thinking about it, I don't feel comfortable with him moving in. I explained that regardless of the money he's offering, I can't live with someone who initially dismissed my medical needs so easily. I need to feel safe in my own home, and I need to know my service dog can do her job without restrictions or tension. And by the way, I need you to know that you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts, search up OK Storytime. My roommate actually took it really well. She said she completely understands and that my decision doesn't change anything between us. She told me she really enjoyed our time together yesterday, just talking and eating our charcuterie board, and that she's glad we were able to work everything through. She said he won't be moving in, and that's final. Later, I overheard them talking in her room. From what I could gather, it sounds like he came over last night while I was sleeping. And from their conversation, it seems like he's planning to sleep over again tonight, too.
Okay, well, you can't prevent that.
He can still be allowed to come over.
Yeah.
And
like,
also, if you're in your room at that point with your service dog sleeping,
I think it would be a little bit unreasonable for you to be like, he can't sleep over.
I think I'd be like, hey, like, I overheard this, you don't need to sneak around.
Yeah,
like, he can still come over kind of thing.
I think I would specify, like, he's not living here, but sleeping over is different.
Yeah. I'm trying not to jump to conclusions, but I'm a little concerned this is just going to turn into him just staying over constantly instead of officially moving in. Top comments. Commenter 1. Now you go over your lease and talk to your landlord. Time for you to find a new place. Commenter 2. He's just always going to be around, even if he says he isn't living there. I expect that he's slowly going to bring things into a room, one backpack at a time. It's best you move. Commenter 3. You have every right to address your concerns to your roommate. You live there. You're not overreacting at all. If I were you, honestly, I would not feel comfortable with him being there at all. He sounds like a manipulator. I wouldn't take any dog food or treats from him, either for your dog, let alone feed your dog whatever he gifts you. He is trying to weasel his way in to live there and will continue to do so. You both are young, and with him being 30 years old, he will try to control every situation that arises. Your friend should seriously think about the relationship with him. Commenter 4 says, so this dude is still moving in anyway, unofficially? You need to speak to your landlord about him always staying over, wanting to move in, and now back to staying over when you said no. Commenter 5 says, not overreacting. You need to make a final decision and move. This situation is not going to get better, and her boyfriend will be there constantly. Soon, you'll come home and see he's moved all of his things. At this point, you need to tell the landlord a third party is living there while still making arrangements to move. You will not win while your roomie and boyfriend are plotting behind your back. Please move and do not sign another lease or you will regret it. That is the end of that story. I will say I think those comments are jumping
to a lot of conclusions.
Way too quick.
Yeah.
Because you can still have a conversation first.
Yeah.
Might not be anything.
He stayed over 2 nights.
Right. 2 nights in a row is not crazy.
That's really not crazy. Oh my goodness. My brother's roommate stole his Bitcoin after he passed away?
Someone's got to cash it in.
Trigger warning for loss of a family member. My male 32 younger brother, male 22, passed away nearly 5 years ago, which devastated my family at the time. I was posted overseas when it happened and felt some guilt that if I hadn't been away, I would have been able to prevent him being influenced by his circle of friends at the time, but ultimately I realized I was not my brother's keeper. Afterwards, I assisted my parents with putting his belongings into storage to be sorted out at a later date and returned to my job. By the way, this comes from Justice Crew Cut, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, I'm Sophia.
I'm Riley.
And I'm Keon.
And OP says, when my contract ended, I returned home and had the time to sort through some of my brother's things that my parents hadn't looked at yet. Among them was his computer, which I was hoping might have had some photos or other things of interest on it. I managed to salvage a few good pictures and videos, though most of it was of him hanging out with his friends at the time. It was still good to have a few extra memories of him from back then. It was while I was going through installed programs, I noticed he had Bitcoin software installed.
Oh, wow.
I know he used it to buy certain things for himself and his friends online, so it wasn't a surprise to me that he had this.
You can use Bitcoin on certain websites to buy illegal things. So they can't trace you.
I see. I knew that Bitcoin had gone up in value over the past several years, so part of me hoped he might have had an amount there, but when I ran the Bitcoin program, it said 0. I wasn't too surprised at that until I looked at the transaction details. There was regular activity there right up until the week before he passed away, and then nothing after that.
Oh, what? Do we have a conspiracy on our hands? I'm about to get so pissed. I just saw that. Oh my god. Oh my god. I can't. I might freak out. I might freak out. Oh my gosh.
Until 2 years ago, when the total balance at the time of 147 Bitcoins was transferred out of it.
Shut the front door. Shut
How
the
much
front
is
door.
that?
Shut the front door.
Oh,
Shut
How
the
much is
front
that?
door.
That's insane.
Shut the front door.
Like, you know how much one?
How much is that?
Oh, dude.
How much is 147 Bitcoins?
$17.6 million if you cashed it in today.
You gotta sue whoever
I
stole
don't.
that money.
Let me look up how much it is right now. One Bitcoin is worth like 100,000.
You
1 second.
gotta sue. This made no sense to me unless someone else had a copy of his account or had hacked them from him somehow. But then I checked the history log on the computer, and lo and behold, it had been started up several times on the date the transfer happened. Going back to my parents, I asked them if anyone else had used the computer since they got it back from storage. They remembered that, yes, 2 years ago, my brother's old roommate looked them up and asked if they still had his computer.
Shut up.
And
Shut up.
could he use it to get a copy of some files to do with their old rental?
No.
They had let him use it for a couple of hours, and he left afterwards, and they hadn't heard from him since.
Okay.
I looked him up on social media, and from his post, it seems like he suddenly came into some serious money, judging from the purchases and activities he was involved with at around the same time.
I can't. I'm so mad right now.
So where do I go from here? The evidence strongly points to his having stolen the Bitcoins, but what are my options? Do I confront him directly, and do I have anything to stand on? My parents went through a lot over the years, and it would be good if I could at least give them back something for all their blood, sweat, and tears. And I know it's what my brother would have wanted. Lawyer up!
Yeah.
Lawyer up!
Hi, I'm Saul Goodman.
I would sincerely get a lawyer
Lawyer.
involved ASAP.
Lawyer.
I also wonder if his brother's passing had anything to do with it.
Edit. Thanks for the advice so far. I will be driving down to my parents this weekend to check the computer for the Bitcoin information to investigate this further. This community is amazing. Relevant comments. Fuyuki Wataru, get in contact with a lawyer immediately. Yes. Do your parents still have the message where he asked to use the computer? Security footage where he was at your house? Anything is useful here. If you don't have it, see what your lawyer thinks about this idea. Something along the lines as, contact him and ask if he used your brother's computer about 2 years ago when he was deceased, and make sure it's on paper. Was the computer password protected? Post the address that the coins were sent to. Maybe some Bitcoiners can help try and find out which exchange he had used to cash out. Then we can try and contact the exchange for extra help. Hopefully this guy had sold his Bitcoins through an exchange where he was verified with his passport and address. And then I think you'll have a solid case. Edit. Also, you need to act fast. The guy might be reading this subreddit and he might come across this post. Good luck. And OP says, appreciate the quick response. I'll answer in point form. I'd like to avoid legal if possible due to what my brother was using them for and also the cost. Not ruling it out later, though. I think you gotta use legal, dude. There was no password set. I will post an update with the address information when I have it. Since it looks likely he did cash it out, I really hope you're right about his having done it somewhere he can be tracked. Deleted said, good luck with legal pursuit of action in this circumstance. There is a reason why Bitcoin is used on the darknet markets. OP says, that's my only concern with this if we do pursue this legally. I know my brother was using them for less than legal purchases at the time, which could be linked back to the Bitcoin. 222-7337 says, what are they going to do? Arrest your brother? The worst case scenario would be to seize the Bitcoins, which I doubt would happen.
Yeah, no, those are gone.
Yeah, they're gone. But there is an update, folks. I mean, I feel like you gotta get a lawyer involved. The thing is that you don't necessarily have to decide to sue this guy, but I think getting a lawyer involved to see what your options are. Just like consult a lawyer, you know? But there is an update. I was sent a message from a fairly notable individual in the subreddit with an offer to help, which I have accepted based on his history and reputation here. On his advice, I will be collecting the computer from my parents' place later today instead of the weekend so we can jump on this ASAP due to this now being out in the open. He's also using his connections to get a free legal opinion from someone qualified in this area. Nice! Sometimes Reddit is helpful. I can't say much else until I hear back from them, but I will be sure to provide further details as soon as I am able. For now, I just want to thank the community in Bitcoin for all the kind words and advice you have given. It's people like you who restore my faith in humanity after experiencing idiots like my brother's ex-roommate. Editor's note, many were skeptical of the unknown Redditor's assistance. Fuyuki Wataru says trust no one, especially people who privately send you mail. Regardless of what their reputation is, they might F you over. It has happened in the past plenty of times. Makes me wonder if this person has such a great reputation, why aren't they coming out in the open? And there is an update. 4 years ago, at the urging of others, I posted to the sub asking for help. So this is 4.5 years later.
Oh my gosh. I know that anytime he hears the word Bitcoin, he freaks out a
So
little
this is
bit.
2020 now. Bitcoin has skyrocketed, and this man is finding out that his brother's ex-roommate sold all of their Bitcoin money for like $100,000. Furious.
This story is making me so uncomfortable inside. It is so hard to describe.
I originally posted to the relationship sub, but was quickly directed to repost to the Bitcoin sub to see if anyone there could offer any advice. Soon after doing that, I was privately approached by a credible individual from this group with an offer of assistance, which myself and my parents accepted. Through their network of contacts, we received expert technical advice and forensic analysis at absolutely no cost whatsoever, and legal representation that totally understood the issue at hand and was prepared to work on a no-win, no-fee basis. I would be super skeptical of that. No such thing as a free lunch. We owe all of these people a massive debt of gratitude for what they have been able to achieve for us here, and it has finally come to a conclusion in these last few weeks. The analysis of the computer took several weeks before we heard back, but the results were extremely promising. They had identified that while all the Bitcoins had indeed been transferred to another wallet, not all the Bitcoins in this wallet had been spent. There was still approximately 36 Bitcoins remaining in there that had not been touched. Of what had been spent, there was significant trails of evidence which was used as the starting point of commencing legal action against the individual in question. It has taken time, and much of it is under non-disclosure, but what I can confirm is that an agreement was made to withdraw our case against him in return for transferring this remaining balance back to my brother's estate. Yesterday, our lawyer let us know that this has now been done. They are handling the technical aspect of this for us, but the upshot is that the cash equivalent of nearly 29 Bitcoins will shortly be transferred to my parents. This couldn't have come at a better or more needed time.
Holy cow.
But you guys should have time to listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left. How much is 29 Bitcoins, or
Right now?
was 29 Bitcoins in 2020?
$290,000.
Ooh, so they got more than the guy got?
Yep. Oh yeah. It's all a waiting game.
Heck yeah. The past 12 months with the vid has taken a significant toll on them. Their business was up against the wall, and they potentially stood to lose everything unless things turned around. So this cash infusion has taken away all the fear and stress they were living under. This entire saga began with the premature passing of my brother. It now concludes with him leaving behind a legacy of hope and optimism for our parents. Somewhere up there, I know he's smiling and cheering them on. In the end, you did good, Raph. Aww. In 2014, it was worth 50 to 60K. In 2021, it was worth 1.5 million. So now we have specific numbers.
Thank you.
So they got 1.5 million, I guess.
All right. Well,
That's a lot better than $200,000. 1.5 million?
crazy, dude.
So they not only got about the 50 to 60K, they also got 1.9 million.
Oh, I was looking at like October of 2020 when it went down.
Ah, you fool.
My friend wanted to get rid of our adopted cat because her boyfriend is allergic.
I'm getting rid of your boyfriend.
Yesterday was $10 adoption day at the local animal shelter in my city. So my roommate, Ashley, 20 female, and I, 25 female, decided to go check out the cats. We intended to just love on some kitties and go home, but we each fell in love with one.
Isn't that the story as old as time?
Yeah. We are now the proud owners of Socks and Dizzy. Very cute names. By the way, this comes from Crazy Cat Stitch. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/showcase storytime subreddit. I'm Riley.
I'm Dakota.
And I'm Sophia.
And we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna give advice. We're gonna make some goofs and some gaffes. But of course, that's all we're really qualified to do.
That's
is goof
right.
And gaff. We have no degrees in anything other than goofing and gaffing.
I don't even have one of those.
Dang. But if you've experienced any of this stuff or have stuff to say, leave it in the comments. The OP says, before we adopted the cats, my roommate's boyfriend, Nick, 24 male, made it clear that he was allergic to animals. Not realizing how severe his allergy was, Ashley decided to get the cat and assumed that Nick could just take medication before coming over to our apartment.
That's super
I'm,
messed up.
Ready to turn the phone off.
No.
That's super messed up.
I think it is a fair assumption
I
that it's like,
disagree.
okay, you can probably take some Benadryl.
Nah.
But as soon as it's made clear that that is not the case.
Cat gotta go.
When Ashley texted Nick, telling him that we got 2 cats, he texted her back, well, it was nice knowing you.
Okay. I mean,
Big swing. A little background on them. They met at work a while ago, but remained friends as Ashley was seeing another coworker named Johnny.
gross.
When
Serial
John-
coworker dater.
When Johnny and Ashley broke up, Nick told her that he would like to sleep with her. She started spending time with him, and the friendship turned into a relationship. The morning we adopted our cats, Ashley was telling me that she was having doubts about her 2-week-old relationship with Nick because he was too clingy. When they spent time together, he had to constantly touch her, and he took up too much of her space when they went to sleep at night. He also told her he loved her already, but would not say it for real yet because he did not think she was ready. This all freaked her out, and she was thinking about taking a step back from everything. She also still had feelings for Johnny and still dreamed about him. I think this is holding her back in her relationship with Nick as well. Yeah, probably. I think that's an astute observation. At this point, it is worth mentioning that I also have a boyfriend named Charlie, whom I have been on and off again with for coming up on a year. Charlie has clothes, towels, toiletries, and a toothbrush here. Ashley mentioned that although she had been having doubts about Nick, she was looking forward to him gradually moving his things in as well. Last night, Nick came over to spend some time with Ashley, and the severity of his allergies became clear. He left saying he did not know if this could work. When I came home from work tonight, I found Ashley on the bed crying and saying that she was going to have to get rid of Dizzy. Hey, quick thing. I hate to be the pedantic on this. You do have 2 cats. So just getting rid of the one is not going to solve the situation.
Is not the brightest bulbs in the light bulb shed.
In the
story.
tiny oven. Honestly, this seems rash and irresponsible to me. She's already attached to the cat and signed the adoption papers. In my opinion, she agreed to take care of this animal and should uphold her end of that agreement. Also, even if she gets rid of Dizzy, I have no intention of getting rid of Socks, so it will not really solve her boyfriend problem. That's what I'm saying. Dizzy is an older cat, 7 years, and is less likely to get adopted again than the younger cats and kittens at the shelter. He had already been there for quite a while. Considering her doubts about her relationship to Nick, I think it is not a good idea to get rid of Dizzy. I personally think she will regret it when she and Nick break up. Plus, she's a huge cat person. There's no way she can date long term who does not ever want to be around cats. I asked her if he had ever seriously tried medication, and she said he's tried some over-the-counter stuff, but has never seen a doctor for the allergy. I told her that it is possible there's a medication that will work for
That's
him.
crazy. This bozo hasn't even had his allergies attempted to be treated,
Yeah.
which you can do today. It doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah,
but you
I
have
had
to do it.
allergy shots for years and years, and they didn't really do much for me, but they did minimize some seasonal allergies.
Anyways, as I am not allergic or in a relationship, I do not quite know how much sense my advice or opinions make. I was looking for some impartial opinions on how to best resolve the situation. Hopefully Reddit can help. You've heard mine. She should take this opportunity to break up
I
with
mean,
Nick.
you should make it clear that it's like, I noticed that you're ready to get rid of your cat for your boyfriend so he won't have any allergies here. I'm not getting rid of my cat. I'm
sure.
not getting rid of my cat.
Comment 1. Just point out to her that you won't be getting rid of socks. There's no point in getting rid of Dizzy if her only issue is the boyfriend being allergic. That being said, I look forward to your next post. My roommate wants me to get rid of my cat for her boyfriend. Fair enough, the slippery slope.
Mm-hmm.
Haha, Socks is not going anywhere, says OP. He is a timid cat, and being around all of the people at the shelter took its toll. He was shaking when I met him. He's a totally different cat now. I would never put him through the shelter situation again. Poor little bugger. Also, I've pointed this out to her, but she plans to keep her bedroom as a sort of quarantine zone if she gives back Dizzy. No cats will go into her room, so her boyfriend will be able to sleep here. Comment 2. As a person with severe cat allergies, I can assure you that won't work one bit. I made another post here somewhere below. I think she should get rid of the cat because she sounds irresponsible as F. I'm worried for that cat if she's flip-flopping on such a huge decision as to care for another life like this. I don't know how anyone decides out of nowhere to take care of a cat. It's a huge responsibility, and if she's already going back on her decision, that's a huge red flag. Poor kitty. At least you sound dedicated to yours. Cat's shed, that hair moves around. Unless you have an airlock on that door and change clothes, the apartment will still have a ton of dander in it. I mean, she loves on the cat in the main room. Where does she take her clothes off and leave them? Probably the quarantine zone. There's an update. Would we like to hear it? I love, just real quick, I love that it goes, update, immediately followed by, this is not so much an update as it is a request for some more advice.
Ah, well, here it is.
I told my roommate about my post here and that the majority of responders agreed with me on giving up the cat. I also told her that no matter what she did, I would support her. Finally, I told her that if she did not want Dizzy, Charlie and I were happy to adopt him. She got frustrated and huffed, well, that solves nothing. For the last few nights, Nick has been staying with us and she has been Dizzy out of her room. Charlie and I sleep with our door open so that Socks can come and go, and Dizzy has been wandering in to sleep with us. This morning, Ashley came into my room and woke us up to complain that Dizzy was sleeping with us and spending time in our room. OP was pretty surprised, honestly. That's fair. If you do not want the cat to sleep in my room, stop locking him out of your room. Not only are Charlie and I letting Dizzy sleep with us, we are feeding him, giving him medication for his upper respiratory infection, changing his litter, etc. We are his caretakers. Yeah, that's your cat. Charlie has started calling both cats our babies. After Ashley left for class this morning, Charlie and I got up and spent the day running errands. We came home around 7 p.m. tonight and could not find Dizzy anywhere. I'm concerned. When I went into Ashley's room to look under her bed, I heard Dizzy in the closet. Poor guy had been locked in there all day. When I texted Ashley telling her that she accidentally locked him in there, she was upset. Not because her poor cat had not been able to eat, drink, or go to the bathroom all day, but because he probably got fur on her clothes and she would have to wash them before spending time with Nick.
Your boyfriend sucks, and so do you.
Yeah. I love my roommate, but her behavior towards this poor cat is pissing me off. I keep finding myself so mad at her. The shelter we adopted the cats from also pays for a checkup if you make an appointment within the first week after adoption. I made my appointment for Socks, but she never made one for Dizzy. Because my name is not on Dizzy's adoption papers, I cannot take him in and texted her with the vet's number so she could make an appointment for her cat too. She immediately asked me to do it for her. This may seem small, but she is taking no responsibility for this creature she adopted, and it is exasperating. Reddit! I am at my wit's end, and so is Charlie. What the heck do we do? I do not want to lose my roommate. I just want my level-headed friend back. Was your friend ever level-headed, or are you just now realizing?
I don't know. Some people are different when they're dating,
That's, yeah.
and she sounds like she's dating a guy who's not great, and
Yeah.
is just a coworker.
This guy has clearly changed her priorities, and nothing I do can get her to see that the way she's treating Dizzy is just wrong.
I think you need to make it less about the cat and more about like why you're dating this guy and he's like a freak weirdo who told you he loved you in 2 weeks, but not really, and he's gonna wait for you to feel it back, and not in like a cute way, in like a weird way.
Yeah. Because that's really the thing is like, yes, this all started because of the cats, but you are now getting into stuff about responsibility, about like your friendship and your relationship. Surprise, surprise, the advice is have a big old conversation. Since the mini update I posted, things have gotten both better and worse. So I'm scared that there's anything beyond this. I'm scared that there's worse past this. The good news is Ashley broke up with Nick. She finally realized that she was only dating him to get over another guy and she had no real feelings for Nick. I was so proud of her and really happy for her as well. She seemed happier for about a week and then started dating her boss. Oh.
Stop.
Oh.
Stop dating the people that you work with.
Oh. That was so fast.
I mean, honestly, no, keep doing this. Work your way all the way up to the CEO. Marry him, divorce, settlement package. Then you can have all the cats you want.
That's really the ultimate goal. We're trying to get to as many cats as possible. She has no physical attraction to him, but wants someone to warm her bed. And your boss?
I mean, if that was my good friend, I would be like, hey, do you not see how maybe your dating pattern is a little destructive?
Oh.
Potentially.
Wow. Speaking
just
of
putting it out there.
of potential, there's so many more potential episodes you could be watching. For OK Storytime, go to your Spotify, Apple, or whatever wherever you listen to podcasts. Pick up that conch on the shore and put it to your ear, and you will find OK Storytime. There is another update, but yeah. Truly, there's like the cat part is up here, and I feel like that's what OP like thinks the story is about. And then here in the background is the craziest thing going on at whatever this workplace is.
True.
Whatever bowling alley or law firm that the roommate works at sounds like a mess.
Maybe it's a bowling alley law firm.
The update. However, it has become apparent since the split with Nick that Ashley just does not care about her cat Dizzy in general. He's overweight, but she does not put him on a diet. She doesn't change the litter. We take turns doing the litter box. She lies and says she has done it when she has not. She never fills their water, etc. All of this is fine. I will take care of the food and litter, and I will buy diet cat food, but Dizzy is sick, and she will not take him to a vet. This is so sad. Her excuse is that she has not found one yet. When we adopted him, he had an upper respiratory infection. The shelter gave us medicine for him, and we made sure he took it. He was okay for a couple of weeks, but now he is sneezing again and has goopy eyes. No, not the goopy eyes.
Not the goopers.
I'm really worried about him, but Charlie and I are barely making ends meet right now. We cannot afford to take Dizzy to the vet. Ashley, on the other hand, is fully capable of taking him. She just will not. I'm worried about Dizzy's health. He's an older cat, and I do not want this infection to get worse. The poor guy must be miserable, but Ashley is doing nothing. She actually thinks it is funny to say bless you every time he sneezes. I just want to scream at her to take him to the damn vet. Charlie and I tried once before to take him to the vet with us when we took Socks for his post-adoption checkup, but the vet said that since Dizzy's microchip has Ashley's name on it, we cannot be the ones to bring him in.
Really? That
I
seems a
guess.
little... That seems a little weird. Can you just say, I live with... This is my roommate's cat. I live with her. We're just saying she can't come. She has work. They'd be like, no, actually, the microchip doesn't have your name on it. I'd be like, okay, so do I just throw this cat away? Like, what...
Do I just leave him here then?
Do you have a solution for this?
Somebody says, I would go and talk to the animal shelter who ran the adoption day. Say you think the cat needs medical attention, but your roommate who actually adopted him won't do it, and you can't do it because your name isn't on the microchip. Ask if they can have one of their vets look at him, and if they can suggest any long-term solutions. They may even have the power to revoke the adoption and give him to you. Some contracts have fine print about that. Also, you could try another vet and just not mention he isn't yours. Most don't routinely check for ownership before treating.
Yeah, like that's so weird. I've never heard that really being an issue. Do they have like a vet Hippocratic oath where it's like you gotta do it?
Is that the title? Is there something about an oath?
I don't know.
Hippocratic.
Isn't that the Hippocratic oath? You gotta do it.
My boyfriend's mother refused to let us share a room together.
Sleepover!
My 23 female boyfriend, 23 male, will be graduating college in a couple of months. His mom, 39 female, wanted to plan a graduation trip for him. By the way, this comes from Throwaway 4920, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. So let us know what you know in the comments down below. Opie says, for context, my boyfriend doesn't have the best relationship with his mom. They rarely see each other, although my boyfriend and I live 5 minutes away from her. From everything he has told me, there was a lot of bad parenting when he was a child, and his whole family is low contact with her decision. Now to the issue. She planned a trip with her boyfriend, his 2 kids, my boyfriend's sister, and obviously my boyfriend to another country. Told my boyfriend that he could invite me if he wanted to, but I would have to pay for my own expenses, which I don't mind. She will be paying for my boyfriend's trip. My boyfriend had no say in where the trip was going, and his mother said we are not allowed to room together. Okay, I would be rooming with his sister, 14 female, and her boyfriend's daughter, 10 female, while my boyfriend will be rooming with her boyfriend's son, 14 male. We're staying in an all-inclusive resort, but I feel like I'm only going to be there to babysit.
At that point, the thing is, like, she's not paying for you, so she doesn't really have a say about what you do. But because she's paying for the boyfriend or your boyfriend, I feel like she has some say about what he does.
Half say.
You know, I think that you should just not go.
Yeah. If there's even the hint of you babysitting,
Yeah.
you don't want to do that.
Don't go.
Even my boyfriend mentioned he was scared his mom would just force him to babysit the kids. I'm also worried something might happen to one of the kids if like they fall, get hurt, or wander off, and I'd had to be blamed for it, since it feels like she wants us to take care of them. My boyfriend says I can pay for my own room, but he doesn't think his mom will let him room with me. I also don't want to stay alone in a room in a foreign country, but I know this is going to cause issues with his mom. In the end, I told him I wouldn't go unless we room together, but he's upset since he wants me to go. Am I the a-hole?
I don't think that's at all the a-hole. I think that you've said your conditions. You said, I can't go unless we room together. He says you can't room together, so then you can't go.
I want to go.
It's as simple as that. I think that's it.
Yeah.
There's no issues here.
Keon, would you go? No.
Yeah, I'm going on my own trip.
Yeah.
There we go.
If I'm
That's an easy no.
spending money
Oh, yeah.
to go on a trip, then let's go on a trip where I don't have to babysit and I don't have rules.
Yeah, this is no longer a trip, you know? Like, I want to enjoy my trip.
Commenter 1, why don't you and your boyfriend just pay for your own room? Hope he says, right? This is the exact point I brought up. From what he's told me, she's set on a solid no, even if him and I split the cost for the room.
Because then she wouldn't pay for the, resort. Wait,
Is that
what
a
is she
religious
paying
thing?
for?
She's paying for the resort, the trips.
Yeah,
Paying for his way.
I'm assuming that she's paying for extra stuff. But if she's just paying for the room in the resort,
Yeah,
then
I think that's what it is.
yeah, she's just saying you can't.
Commenter 2, I also don't want to stay alone in a room in a foreign country unless you're in a really violent or increasingly backwards and misogynist country like the USA. Normally, that wouldn't be a problem. However, I wouldn't go at all with a family like that. Opie says, you're probably right about that. I've never been to this country, and she won't tell us the name of the resort, so I have no idea where we would be staying. I'm assuming it's nice, but I'd rather be pleasantly surprised than assuming. They've also mentioned that they don't want to stay in the resort the whole time. Okay, another comment says, Commenter 3, not the a-hole. Don't go. Very simple. Don't go. Don't negotiate. It will only turn into more issues with his mom, and then you will be the bad guy soon. Your boyfriend doesn't seem strong enough to stand up to her, so it's very likely you will be blamed. No need to object yourself to this. Save your money from another vacation. Really, don't start arguing. Simply don't go. And rethink the wisdom of involvement with a man who apparently can't separate from his mom, even though he doesn't like her. Opie says, yeah, this is what I've been thinking about all day, but he doesn't see it like that. In his head, he has no say since she's paying for him. And we got an update 2 days later.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's easier if you don't go.
Oh, yeah.
She does have a say because she is paying for him.
Have
It doesn't
say.
quite, it doesn't quite make sense because you've already talked about, oh, well then why don't, you just pay or I just pay for this room and then we share it.
Yeah. Also, I know for a fact if OP goes, mom's going to find something wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, you're folding your laundry like that?
Yeah, you're just going to get criticized. You're going to be a babysitter.
If they won't let you in the same room, you're going to wear a bathing suit. You're just
Yeah.
going to have a problem with it.
Don't make sense.
This is the first update I've ever done, so I'm hoping I'm doing this right. First of all, thank you all for the advice. The day I posted this, I had a conversation with my boyfriend that snowballed into the worst fight we've ever had.
Oh.
I didn't like the part where he was like, "You need to come with me." I didn't
Yeah,
like that
where
part.
she was like, hey, like, it's either we stay in a room together and I'm not going to go. And he's like, no, you have to come. Just yeah, you probably will have to babysit the kids. It's fine.
You're my happiness and you can't be without me.
Come on.
He accused me of trying to convince him not to go on the trip, which isn't something I had ever brought up. He even said he wants to go since it's a free trip to a country he's never been to. He did end up telling me that his mom said no to us rooming together for the following reasons. 1, we aren't married. Neither are her and her boyfriend.
Interesting.
2, we're too young. 3, because I said so.
See, that's a
My favorite
explanation
one.
you can't use after like 12.
Yeah.
I feel like once you're a full-fledged adult, like 18, once you
You
hit
certainly
18,
can't use it then.
Yeah, because I said so is like,
Come on.
What?
So infantilizing.
I'm not freaking for you.
I'm not freaking 3,
and then
Mom.
you just respond with, "Oh, why don't you want to go?" Because I said so.
Because yeah. Why do you need to go? Because I want to.
It's so good using parents' logic back on them.
Yeah, just give them right back their own medicine.
I spoke to my boyfriend last night. Turns out some of you that suggested she might be helping him with money were correct. She took out loans to help pay for his schooling. They're all under her name, but if she stops paying, he feels responsible for them. I also think she was helping him out with grocery money since he's part-time, so she's pretty much holding all of this over his head.
Of course she is.
That's over
She
his
wants,
head.
I mean, like, it seems like he doesn't have a good relationship with her. Probably because she's incredibly controlling and she wants to keep him around for as long as she can. And this is the way to do it.
As the boyfriend, just go on the trip and babysit. Pay your dues, man.
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I was
Even
gonna say it's over his
No.
head, not over my head, kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Even as the
Exactly.
boyfriend, you want to go?
Oh, is the boyfriend?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think the boyfriend should still go.
Yeah.
He's going to be spending time with his family.
Mm-hmm.
Those are his siblings he's
Come on, dude.
babysitting.
He did end up asking her if he was going to babysit, and she answered the next day at 8 a.m., "Stop being so negative. Good night." He told me how childish and immature she is, but the truth is, I don't want to spend my life battling his mom. He promised me that I wouldn't, and that things would change when he graduates, but I'll believe it when I see it. Part of the reason I'm even contemplating going is because I want to see what I'm signing up for, and if he's willing to stick up for me. If he isn't, then we're done. I won't waste years of my life on someone that can't defend me.
I feel like maybe we're making a little bit of a rash decision
For break-
here
Really?
to break up.
I don't know.
I think breaking up is a pretty big thing.
Yes, in this scenario.
I think it could be super reasonable, but I would want to I would want to see if we could work through this one issue.
Still give it a chance.
Yeah.
Would you give it a chance still, Keon?
I'm on thin ice. Like,
Yeah, I agree. I think thin ice is fair.
Would you go on the trip to see if you could?
Heck no. Heck no.
Because he's gonna be under her thumb the whole time.
No trip.
Especially if this is the dynamic that we're starting going into the trip. You know how you go into a trip is like,
You know he's not going to be on your side.
yeah, I wouldn't do that.
I don't think the boyfriend will ever stand up to his mom because it's hard to turn it down.
That's
for money.
true. I mean, he's only 23, so it's not like. But I
23 and still.
I think it totally could be the other way of him always taking his mom's side over you.
Yeah, well, that's the, hey, cowboy up. If you're going to be living under your mom's, I guess, tyranny where she's having money over your head, maybe stop having that,
Yeah.
giving her that power.
Yeah.
He did tell her that if I were to go, then I would book my own room reservation. My idea, since I don't want any surprises. She's now telling him he's blowing things out of proportion. They're supposed to talk tonight, and he's pretty angry about the whole situation, so I'll let you know how it goes. Commenter 1 says he did tell her that if I were to go, then I would book my own room reservation. If you go and have to pay for your own trip, you are allowed to do whatever the F you want. The fact is, she's mad at both of you because you want your own room kind of proves that you were right thinking you were invited to babysit only. I wouldn't go, not even to see what's what. You will only be miserable and will now associate that country with that experience.
Yeah, don't ruin the entire country. It's terrible. You'll never be able to go back to that country
You'll
again.
hate Switzerland forever.
It's like, like someone's like, hey, you want to go to, like, I'm thinking about a Switzerland trip. And you're like, no, God, no, I can't ever go back to Switzerland.
Hey,
And
they
they were
got-
like, why? I had to babysit.
Hey, they got
I didn't get to see the country.
Yeah, they got a new Swiss restaurant. You want to come check it out?
No, don't make me look after your kids. Oh, sorry. What did you say?
Oh, Opie says, I agree. I think she confirmed that I was only going to take care of the kids. She just gave my boyfriend the name of the resort. I looked at it and turns out that a child and a teen stay for free, but an adult has to be accompanying them in the room. It's a package, but I'm thinking that's what she wanted to do.
Absolutely what she wanted to do. She's trying to get that free room.
Leave me with the kids that they aren't.
And also, crazy thing, she won't even pay for OP. She was going to make OP pay for her kid.
Leave me with the kids that aren't paying to be there, and her boyfriend can have their own space. I haven't looked at the prices or compared it to how much she originally wanted me to give her, but I think you're right about not going.
Yes.
Part of the reason I'm contemplating about going is seeing what I'm signing up for. You don't need to go to see that you already know he won't stand up for you. That's what the point I was kind of making.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not going to stand. I mean, like, if you go, you have to babysit, and your boyfriend takes his mom's side.
This is where OP backpedals a little bit. I don't think I spoke much about my boyfriend's character. Truly the best person I've ever been with. When people say that,
Until they
Just
get
haven't
with someone
seen that
better.
Yeah, you're only 23.
yeah.
How many
They
people have you
only-
actually been with?
Yeah, I was gonna say they only say that until they find someone
Yeah,
better.
best person so far.
I was gonna say, are they like, oh, he's the best, and they're like, how many people have you dated? Just him.
Just him.
We need to have a better metric for that.
Yeah. Like, how does he compare to your friends?
Friends, I was thinking like Disney princes. Or
How
whatever.
does he compare to Prince Naveen post character
Post-frog.
development?
Who's Chris and
Kristoff?
Yes, how does he compare to Kristoff?
Kristoff's pretty great, yeah.
What about Princess and the Frog?
It's
That's
Prince
Nadine.
Naveen. I already said that one.
See, we're already on the
We're
the
already
same
there.
page here.
How does he compare?
He's everything I want in a partner.
Not everything, clearly, because you want him to stand up to his mom.
You're missing a few things here. But I know you could be right about this. I want to believe that he would stand up for me if it came down to it. But I also need to be realistic and consider how the situation has been handled so far. Another comment says you were really going to waste the money to go and have your own room and still be pushed into babysitting. You know your boyfriend isn't allowed to be in your room even if you pay for it. So why are you wasting the money to go be put in the exact positions neither of you want to be in? You aren't going to get to have any alone time on this vacation. You aren't going to get long walks on the beach or snuggly time in front of the fire. You aren't going to get any sort of romantical time with your boyfriend. You both will get to be the babysitters. And why would you go to dinner alone? This is a family trip. We eat together.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not, you're just not going to have time to be, as that commenter said, this is not a romantic trip. This is a
No.
family trip, and you've been hired as a babysitter, except you don't get paid.
You have to pay for it.
You have to pay to be their babysitter.
Says, yes, I would much rather spend the money on a vacation for the two of us to enjoy. He did offer to pay for half of it yesterday. I forgot to mention this in the post, but either way, we're both students, plus the money I would lose from not being at work. I know he really wants me to be there, and I want... ...
We'll never know.
What does OP want?
What does Opie want?
Okay, next day. Theories?
I don't know. A lot of people in the chat saying this relationship is probably not going to last.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful that maybe the boyfriend will realize. But I hope OP does not go on this trip and that she just, does something for herself.
Keon?
I want to be hopeful, but I think somehow, some way, OP gets roped into going to the trip. Like she's like,
Boy.
yeah. I
Oh,
feel like
boy.
gosh. Probably. I'm just not seeing a lot of hope from the boyfriend.
Yeah. Hope or help?
The boyfriend's character does not stand up. Like, it's not, I don't know. It's not really anything I'd be waiting around for.
Yeah, but OP's in that, like, I'm 23, I'm in love with this boy. One of the first real relationships.
Couldn't relate.
But anyway.
Unfortunately, this isn't a good update.
Oh, man. I think they broke up.
I'm now essentially unwelcome on the trip.
Oh.
My
That's
gosh.
a
You
blessing in
didn't want to
disguise.
go, so
Yeah.
OP's like, I'm not coming. They're like, well, you're not even invited anymore.
You're fired.
Yeah, I quit. You can't quit. I fired you.
I wasn't outright uninvited, but that's how I interpreted it. My boyfriend talked to his mom yesterday as planned. From what he told me, she called me ungrateful and a brat. And I am trying to make everything about myself. Said some other things I don't want to think about right now.
Why did he tell you all of that?
And why did he not say, shut up, Mom?
Yeah, I just don't understand why he came to you and was like, yeah, so my mom called you ungrateful and a brat and a bunch of other nasty stuff. And instead of just saying, my mom was not receptive to our plan or our talk, he had to tell you all this stuff in detail?
She claimed I was making up excuses to get a room alone with my boyfriend, which I was not. I have no reason to lie. I asked my boyfriend about getting a separate reservation for my room like we had talked about. That's when he broke the news that she had already booked the rooms for 4 adults and 3 kids, and it's not refundable.
Sucks to suck. Didn't communicate that with OP.
I'm pretty sure she did this on purpose to try and get me to accept her terms. It might be important to mention that my boyfriend had invited me on the trip last week, and I told him I wasn't sure. I asked for a couple of days to figure out since my family member was in the hospital and we weren't sure if they were going to make it. So my priorities were elsewhere. Oh my God.
Yeah, and then you text back your boyfriend and you say, hey, I have to be here for my family member. I'm sorry, can't go. And then if he says, well, Mom says you have to pay, you say, I actually never agreed to this, so I'm sorry, I can't do that.
Too bad, so sad.
Yeah.
She knew this and booked the reservation regardless. He started telling me how much he loved me. I'm like, is he love bombing right now?
Feels like he's like, wait, no, I know that all sounded really bad. My mom hates you, but I love you.
Yeah, he's doing the last line of defense. Like, don't
Yeah.
worry. I love you so much.
I
Like,
think you're great. I don't think you're spoiled at all. He's like, what? I think you're actually really pretty, no matter what anyone says.
I don't think you're a witch at all. She didn't call me a witch. He told me he was done with his mom and wants to go no contact when we move. And that after he graduates, things will change.
So he said.
This trip is a couple of months after he graduates. So I asked him what he was going to do. He said he was still going to go since it's a free trip to a country he's never been to before. I then asked him what's going to change. And he said that he had to go along with what she says because she's helping him.
Helping him how?
look at the money.
Oh, in school and
Until
stuff.
he gets his own job.
Yeah, he's not going to go against his
Like
mom.
I said, boys.
I think, I think at this point now it's like, we got to end the relationship.
We already know our answer. I was trying my best to understand the situation because although it might seem easy for me, I know there's a lot more at play. I asked him if I was uninvited, and he said no. His mom said I could go on the trip as long as I went along with what she wanted. I asked again if I could get my own room, and he said no because he doesn't want me to spend that kind of money. It's not worth it, and said that it would cause tension. Since his mom had already booked a reservation, she would lose money, so it's her way or the highway. He knew that I wouldn't go along with this, so pretty much I can't go. He might invite a friend instead, but I don't know. Last night he said that he felt like there was no winning with me unless he doesn't go on the trip. If I'm being honest, I do feel betrayed by him, still wanting to go after she disrespected me. But I'm also so tired and emotionally drained. I'm not sure if I'm valid for feeling like this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's been so much wishy-washy behavior from these people, and you just keep getting pulled into it. You made a very clear statement. You said, I can either not go on this trip or we stay in a room together if you want me to come.
Yeah, and I'll
That's
get my
it.
own. Those are only 2 things.
Yeah.
And I don't
You could
want
have
to
said,
babysit.
hey, Mom's not okay with that and she's paying for everything, so looks like it's not working.
Easy.
Love to take a trip with you another time.
And whenever, instead of saying that, she's like, spoiled. Making it all about her. Ugh. As of this morning, she has officially threatened to cut all financial support. He says he's at a point where he would rather not have her support than have to deal with this. I know the reason she's doing this is because she's mad at me, and this is her way of punishing me. I'm sorry for the long and not so positive update. I tried to include all the details that I could, but I might have forgotten some. I haven't slept in over 24 hours, so please bear with me.
Go to sleep.
And if you want to sleep with us, go to your favorite podcast platform and search up OK Storytime, and you can sleep with us right beside you on Apple, iHeartRadio, or Spotify.
You mean sleep to us?
Sleep
Sleep
next
to us. Yeah, sleep
Yeah.
next to us, whatever. We'll be right there with you while you're sleeping.
I slightly rescind. I think that if he follows through with this and goes no contact and is like, you know what, I can't take it anymore. There's too many rules. She's just a nightmare to deal with. I'm done.
Dude.
Then your relationship can continue.
I have been a part of a relationship where the family did not like me, It literally is not
Have
worth it.
fun.
Because it trickles down to you. If you're not in a position where you can literally go no contact and have no financial support or like emotional
They're
support,
always going to be involved. Yeah.
they're gonna be there. They're gonna be there at every holiday until you're like actually I'm like, as of 2 years ago, I've been separated from my parents financially and physically because I have my own place, and maybe 4 years. So it's been 20. It takes time.
Absolutely. And everyone has their own like timeline, but it seems as though this one is going a lot. It's been pushed along a little bit quicker than others.
Yeah.
And it seems like he hopefully is becoming independent. But that's the end of that story, folks.
Is there
No update.
No update.
The only thing that I saw and I'm reading about right now, one comment from OP. This was about a month ago as well, and how everyone's like, why are you doing this? You can just spend your money somewhere else. And OP replies, yes, I would much rather spend the money on a vacation for the two of us to enjoy. He did offer to pay for half of it yesterday. I forgot to mention this in the post. That's pretty much all it is.
okay?
Yeah. That's, again, people are just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What you doing?
Nobody likes a Debbie Downer.
Mm-mm.
Save your money and put it towards a trip that you want to do.
Yes. Go to Japan, OP.
Also, why don't you just do a trip for yourself?
Go find a, well,
Ooh.
I think OP's seemingly scared about solo traveling. But there's
Bring a
tons
friend.
of places that are perfectly safe for solo travelers. Most places in Europe, I felt incredibly safe, even when, I was with two people, but there were a couple times where I was doing like solo things. But we've got another story. My cousins kept ruining everything, but I'm always the one getting blamed. Not my fault. I'm 18 and gender fluid, but I was newly 17 at the time that this took place. I was supposed to be helping set up my aunt's baby shower, but it was a Friday night and I had work due at 11:59 p.m., so I couldn't help. I was a junior in high school, bringing up my grades to avoid summer school. It was early May and I couldn't risk not getting my work in on time. My mom refused to tell me about dinner plans, so I heated up pasta so I could work on my assignments. By the way, this comes from Sleepy Sheep, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie. I'm Sophia.
I'm Riley.
We're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We're just going to guess what we would do in this situation, so let us know what you would do in the comments. But OP says, when I heard one of my aunts was coming over to set up and my grandma was coming, I asked if my cousins were coming. My mom said, let it be a surprise. When I told her how important it was to know, she got mad and repeated, it's going to be a surprise. I was frustrated because if I don't know they're coming that night, I can't prepare myself for their chaos. This part was on me. I kept birthday gifts out so I could take photos of them. This consisted of a photocopy of my Melanie Martinez ticket confirmation, some bracelets, my Sanrio cinnamon roll blanket, perfume, and $100 in 20s. I had a dollhouse for storage that held my Bath & Body Works products and expensive perfumes. My school Chromebook was at my desk charging with paperwork for all my assignments next to it. When I was in the bathroom, I heard the chaos of all three of my cousins. All referred to them as cousin B, cousin A, 15, B, 9, and C, 6. The first thing I heard was Conlon screaming. Betty was trying to get through the baby gate, so my first response was to finish using the bathroom and run to barricade my door since my dad took the lock off. As soon as I got to my room, I heard Betty break the baby gate. He knocked it over, letting the dogs run up and down the stairs. Abby...
What's a gender neutral name for it? It was Annie.
Alex went sprinting up the stairs, screaming my name. I tried my best to block the door. Since Alex is freakishly strong, he managed to push it open, causing me to get rug burn on my legs. Yikes. Behind him followed his two siblings. While Alex lifted me from the ground to squeeze me tightly, his siblings ran around trashing my room. Conlon tried to steal my earrings and bracelets. While Barry started stomping around. Within less than 5 minutes, my room looked like a disaster. By the time I broke free of Alex, I was running to Barry to stop him. If I didn't grab him and snatch my Chromebook with all my work saved on it, Barry would have thrown that laptop down the stairs to the hardwood floors. Alex stepped on and destroyed the confirmation photo. He was trying to steal my $100, which led to me wrestling him to get my money back. As soon as I got my money, I had to fight with Conlon to get my jewelry back, which led to her screaming and fake crying.
She then tried to steal my perfume and sprayed a bunch on herself. I took it from her before she could get the expensive bottles, which led to her crying real tears. While she's crying, I'm taking all my earrings from her pockets. She had about 20 different earrings in each pocket. Alex ran over to stop me, while Barry ran to my closet and started tearing down all my clothes. What? By the time I got to him, half my closet was on the ground. I was trying to get him out, and Alex started throwing my schoolwork in the air. So about 10 fully completed assignments for each different classes were, or 8 different classes were now out of order. Conlin decided she was mad at me. She was going to tell her mom and my mom that I was bullying her. Barry left, but not before jumping on my freshly made bed, breaking part of my box frame.
Who are these children? Is this the freaking Tasmanian devil?
That's what it seems like. This is 3 kids stacked in a trench coat, and that's who the
Causing
Tasmanian
chaos.
devil is.
These are the little kids in Brave.
Yes.
Her brothers in Brave.
Yeah,
These
always
are
give
them.
something.
That's exactly what
Oh
I
my
was thinking of. I just
God.
watched Brave.
Oh, nice.
I was trying to remember. Snow Sushi says, "Who's raising these kids?" Bears.
Good question.
Bears
Yeah,
are raising
bears.
these children.
Honestly. That left us with Alex, who was laying on my beanbag, being loud and obnoxious, refusing to leave. My room looked like a disaster. I was fed up, and I decided to tell my mom. By the time I got downstairs, my aunt, her fiance, my mom, and my dad were nowhere to be found. I then saw Barry trying to go for a swim alone in my backyard. It was 50 degrees outside, and my cousin didn't have a life jacket on, nor could he swim.
I'm sorry, he's drowning?
Dude,
Your cousin's drowning in the backyard,
This
and you're
is-
like, he wanted to go for a swim.
this is truly that babysitter trying to take care of baby Jack.
Yeah.
And he's teleporting places.
Yeah,
he's
and she's
getting
like-
into things.
And at the end, it's just her being like,
Yeah, exactly. Right.
With the fire extinguisher.
Yeah. His sister, Conlin, was trying to follow along. The 6-year-old was trying to follow along in the pool unattended, by the way. I started screaming at them while I dragged them both back inside. Alex was downstairs watching me struggle with his siblings, eating pizza, not helping. I started begging my cousin to handle his siblings, but he refused. I was running on low energy, trying to keep all my cousins alive while also trying to avoid summer school. Eventually, I got Barry and Conlin back into the house and told Alex to watch his siblings, which was a mistake. I ended up finding my parents, my aunt, and her fiance. I was telling them, while I was upset, what happened. I pretty much said, I'm not a babysitter, I have important work to do, and I can't watch them. They are getting on my last nerves. My mom told me to watch my mouth. My mom told me to stop bullying my cousins and to spend time with them since I rarely see them. I went back into the house to find Barry almost at his torso in the pool. I ran back outside to drag him back inside, and then I locked the door. I yelled at him, and he told me, shut the heck up. At this point, they had been there for no longer than 30 minutes. What were the adults doing? They were in the garage chatting, drinking, and partying while setting up. I decided to go to my room to take a breather. They decided to go upstairs after me about 15 minutes later. They started yelling and banging on the door. I was frantically working, but there were probably 20 devices on my Wi-Fi, making work time impossible. My cousins ended up coming into my room, throwing papers around again, then yelling at each other. I turned to them and snapped by screaming at them. I grabbed Barry and Conlin by the arm and dragged them out. Alex followed behind because he found it funny when I got mad. I yelled at them and pretty much told them to shut up, sit down, and watch TV. I turned on Paw Patrol, the movie, and left them downstairs. I managed to get all my work together, but missed one assignment because Canvas crashed on me a minute before 11:59 p.m. I cried a lot, too, because I felt guilty.
Maybe just email teacher and say, hey, Canvas crashed.
Yeah, right? Hopefully
trying to-
other people were having that same problem.
Yeah,
but
I always say if you ever have Canvas problems, you just email the assignment directly to the teacher.
that works, too.
And then you could be like, I know, I emailed it at this time.
Yeah, see? At the same time, I was stressed out. I had credit recovery upcoming, summer school, bridesmaids duties, and too much work to do. The next day was more chaos.
I was heavily scolded by my mom for how I treated my family. My grandma told me that I needed to be nicer to my mom and cousins because my cousins were just excited to see me, and my mom is really stressed out. She's hearing only my mom and my cousin's side of the story and not my own. Thanks to her, I started questioning my judgment. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for snapping at my cousins and booting them out of my room? And we do have an update, but absolutely
Girl,
not.
no. They left you in charge of 3 crazy kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally insane kids.
Yeah, I think if this happens again, you gotta 1, video camera out. See what they're doing to my room. I'm trying to tell them to stop. It's not working. 2, if you're taking them out of your room and you're bringing them somewhere, bring them into the garage, dude.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, I
Watch your
can't deal with
kids.
them.
They're sneezing.
Sneezing all over.
I can't take it
They're
anymore.
Giving me allergies, and I can't.
I'm allergic to your
take it
kids.
anymore. Yeah, deal with it. We have an update, people. By morning, I was exhausted. I blocked and barricaded my door so my cousins couldn't enter while I was asleep. Conlon likes to steal, and I could not risk any of my valuables being stolen while I slept. One of my aunts tried to get into my room by morning, but realized that my door was stuck. So at 6 or 7 in the morning, she's pounding on the door to wake me up. I'll refer to the aunts as Auntie Elisa, Auntie B, and Auntie Carly. Okay, we're just going to say Elisa, B, and Carly. Okay, I don't want to say Auntie all those times. Or Auntie, I guess. I always flip back and forth nowadays.
I'm an auntie gal.
I was always Auntie, and then since being here, I've
Probably
become
my-
self-conscious about it.
Is it-
And
oh,
so
I just say it because my mom. That's
now
how
I'm
my
like-
mom says it.
sometimes I hear how it sounds, and I'm like, that is
Yeah.
kind of annoying, saying Auntie all the time.
Is it?
But I have like my Auntie Kelly. This is just,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just
I
what
think
I have
aunt
done.
is very.
Aunt.
It's more American.
What are you?
You should ask
Yeah.
my nieces and nephews who can
Yeah.
barely speak.
I
This
think
week?
aunt is more American, and then aunt is typically more like
I'll
UK,
go-
Australian.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go up to your littlest nephew and be like, "Yo, what's her name?"
What's her name?
Tell me
Who
what's her
is
name.
that?
He's like 3 months old, by the way.
What's her name?
Come on, man, give me an answer.
Come on, dude.
I'm having family time with Angie's family.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah,
I
this
know.
week it'll be very fun.
Ooh la
You're
la.
gonna see all my nieces and nephews.
Ooh
I haven't even met one
la.
of my nephews. He's turning 1.
Whoa.
I know. It's crazy.
We'll see what he calls you.
I guess so. Anyway, Auntie Elisa was there to wake me up to get breakfast with me. I had 10 minutes to get dressed, be in the car, and head to McDonald's. Alex and Barry were still asleep, and Conlon was wide awake. In the car, my mom scolded me for wearing my clothes from the day before and shamed me for my behavior. Oh my God. I mostly tuned out my mom because I was tired and ready to celebrate my aunt's firstborn. For context, this is my aunt's rainbow baby, so this baby is meaningful to us. We get to McDonald's, and I quickly order food because I still need to take a shower and pick out an outfit as well as do makeup. Everyone with us that morning was Auntie Elisa, Auntie Carly, Grandma, my mom, and Conlon. We all order food, and Conlon starts crying loudly because she wants to play on the indoor playground.
And the baby is a baby you have after losing a baby.
Gotcha.
My bad, gang. I've never heard of it, and I just poke fun at things.
Yeah,
You
it's
know
okay. I
what
didn't
it
even hear
was.
what you said.
Nor did I.
We're about to
Um,
get canceled, all of us,
no.
right now.
Well, we just didn't
I didn't
know.
know what it was. Elsa
Yeah.
didn't say anything. I just said, "What is that?"
Yeah, that's all. So my grandma says, OP, go watch your cousin in the playground and this time be nice to her. So I follow my cousin into the play place just to stand there. I can't enter the playground because I'm too tall. My cousin starts throwing a tantrum because I won't get on the steps and chase after her. She scatters off somewhere into the playground, and my mom scolds me for losing her right before we eat. Girl, we get the food, and suddenly my cousin is down from the playground and sprinting towards the food just to sit and complain because she doesn't like the food that she got. Well, that's 6-year-olds for you. Then she started crying because she's hungry and doesn't have any food. So her mom gets up and orders more food while Conlon smiles at me and runs back into the playground. By the time that Auntie Elisa is back, Conlon isn't hungry anymore. Within that time frame, my mom talks to me about how I broke our side gate and how I owe her money. This is right after she took my $100 to transfer it into my bank account. Before we left, Barry called Auntie Elisa from his iPad demanding food. He's throwing around demands such as, bring me pancakes right now, or no, I don't want milk, I want orange juice now. My grandma had to jump in telling him to watch his tone. Eventually, we get in the car and leave. My mom stayed back to grab the cake and salad. But by the time we got halfway there, I checked my bank account and the money hadn't been transferred. When I mentioned it to my aunts and grandma, they said, looks like your mom stole your money again. My mom eventually transferred all the $100. So once I got home, my cousins, Alex and Barry, ate pizza for breakfast, and their dad was getting out of my shower. I hopped into the shower just to find that they used my bars of soap. Both were significantly used. I was upset. I'm very specific with cleanliness and soap. I threw them both in the trash with gloves on and had to use 2 new bars.
Okay.
Well, yeah, it's a little excessive.
But maybe we don't know. There could be some sort of germophobia.
Sure.
Because it could be
I
reasons.
feel so little. Riley, could you be a dear and lower my camera?
Personally, Wrestling Mom says, who shares bar soap? Honestly, I don't really feel that weird about sharing bar soap. I mean, you should, like, as long as you're not, like, usually when I use bar soap, it's like a lather.
Hands first.
Yeah. Or like
Yeah.
I use I have like the African net thing, like a loofah kind of thing.
Yeah.
Lather that. So I actually don't really feel that weird about sharing bar soap.
Right. But yeah, I guess I would understand, like, if it's some like older man that you like
Sure, if you don't know, but if
very
it was
well,
family
and they're like rubbing it directly on you, or you don't know, then like I get
Like,
that.
I
And
wouldn't-
especially if they use so much of it. Like,
yeah, but like
don't
I
get it.
wouldn't. Wait, it was an old man? I thought it was.
it was a man.
Oh, I thought it was a kid.
It was their cousin. It was their uncle. It was their cousin's dad.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, she knows him, no?
Well, I mean, I guess, but I'm still. It was like if
I
my
thought it was a
uncle.
stranger.
If my uncle, well, no strangers are in their house.
Honestly, even if my
also,
uncle
I think
used
OP
it, I guess it.
gender fluid. I forget, but
Oh,
we
I
never
don't-
got pronouns though.
We didn't get pronouns. Did we
Yeah.
get pronouns?
We did not get pronouns.
Oh,
We
my
just got
bad.
gender fluid. I had to leave because my aunt needed my bathroom to do Conlon's hair. Thankfully, I was done getting dressed, but I needed to do my makeup, so I had to go downstairs to my parents' room. I actually met Auntie B's future mother-in-law for the first time, and she seems kind. Even gives me compliments on my outfit and eyes. I walked into my parents' room feeling good. As soon as I entered my parents' bathroom, my mom said my shirt was ugly and then made me change shirts. Cool. Then my mom said rudely, "Don't put all that makeup on, otherwise you'll look trashy." So I altered my makeup look to make my mom happy. By the time I finished getting ready, the party was just starting. Conlon asked if she could have a cupcake, and of course, as my mom would do for her favorite niece at the time, she gave my cousin a cupcake. For context, there were 3 towers of 10 cupcakes and a cake. About 40 people showed up. Within 20 to 30 minutes, Conlon ate a whole tower of cupcakes, started eating the cupcakes on the second tower. When my dad noticed, he told my cousins no more cupcakes. Conlon started to drink a bunch of Sprite instead. I'm talking a 2-liter bottle of Sprite. Me and Alex decided to play Roblox together. Barry asked to join, and we said yes. When we asked Conlon to join us, she said no. We were playing for a few minutes when I saw Conlon start to steal 2 cupcakes from the second cupcake tower. I went over to her, got down to her level, and said, "Conlon, did you hear what my dad said to you earlier? He said no more cupcakes. Let's wait for cake, okay? There won't be enough for everyone else at the party." Well, Conlon didn't like being told no. So she placed the cupcakes down. And as soon as I sat down, she started crying. She cried so loudly that everyone came running from the other room. My grandma's first response was, "Now what did you 3 do to Conlon?" And as soon as I got up to explain, I said, "My dad said no more cupcakes to us, and Conlon had gotten up to take a cupcake, and before I could finish, my grandma cut me off. She loudly said in front of all of the guests, 'So you took the cupcakes out of your cousin's hand and put it back?'"
Well,
Girl.
one, no, but even if she had done that,
Yeah.
it would have been a good thing. This kid's had
Right.
like 20 cupcakes.
Yes.
Jesus, your
I-
parents suck.
I know. I was embarrassed and started defending myself by saying no. I told her to put it back and explain that we can wait for Kate. My mom came to my defense and even started arguing with my grandma about how my cousin didn't listen or doesn't listen. My grandma didn't apologize to me and instead gave my cousin another cupcake. She smirked at
I'm
me.
throwing a cupcake at someone.
Yeah, now we go
I'm going
food fight, and then everyone
Boom.
grabs spaghetti and everyone
Sniper.
grabs the food that
Sniper cupcake at grandma.
Yeah.
Boom. Right.
People
Right here.
People just start grabbing food that didn't even know it was there. They
Yeah.
just got like a full steak and like spaghetti.
Yeah, I've got mashed potatoes on a spoon.
Yeah, exactly. One of those potato guns.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
You're done.
Conlon then started throwing a tantrum because we played Roblox without her and wouldn't let her join. We explained that she has to wait for us all to leave because the game won't let her join. We just ignored her until we were ready to let her join us, but by then she started playing Dress to Impress. Within an hour or two, Alex and Barry started fighting. Great. I think Alex punched Barry. I think Alex hit Barry, so Barry was crying. Soon after, it was cake time. Conlon just wanted more cupcakes, but fell asleep on the couch. Everyone wanted to take photos with Auntie Bay and the cake. It was themed wilderness with animals all over the cake. Because my aunt was due a few weeks later, everyone made sure to get a photo of her and her bump and the cake. Auntie Alyssa got tired of waiting after getting her photo with the cake and proceeded to cut the cake. Auntie Alyssa took the knife out of Auntie B's hands and cut the cake to serve herself and others, cutting the photos short. I felt bad. It's a day about Auntie B and her soon-to-be-born daughter, and everyone around her was making parts of it about themselves. Eventually, it's present time, and me and my grandma are sitting together. Cousin Conlon is getting rocked by Grandma because she's tired. I get up to get a drink and accidentally woke up Conlon, who started crying loudly. Conlon had wet herself in her sleep, and me and my grandma didn't even notice until I got up. She was wet from the back of the couch, and it had slowly spread to the front of the couch. Ooh. My aunt stopped opening gifts so that my cousin could get changed. By the way, you could change your life by listening to full episodes with more stories just like this one. Just go to Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. And there is a little bit more to the story,
Your
but
family sucks.
I'm exhausted just reading all of
Wow. I babysat a lot of kids.
that. Yeah.
And I babysat a lot of crazy kids.
Yeah.
These kids take the cupcake.
Yeah, they steal quite
Yeah.
a lot of them. Yeah, I think the parents are not doing anything. Because it's also just the grandma in here
Yeah.
that's like doing things. It's not even like the cousin's parents.
No, the parents are
They're
MIA.
doing something
Grandma's the only one
crazy.
involved, and she's making more trouble.
Yeah.
OP's the only one trying to parent these kids.
My goodness. Well, maybe the grandma got peed on from this
yeah,
little 6-year-old.
maybe. I hope so.
By the time my grandma got back, there were a few more gifts, and Conlon started crying again. She wanted to open presents too, and was upset seeing that there weren't any presents for her. So Auntie B told Conlon to come help her open presents, and tears were gone immediately. It was such a long day. I also don't recall when this was mentioned, but someone from my side of the family at some point in the party made a comment about wondering about the baby's appearance, making references to race. Oh, I don't recall who, but it was definitely one of the aunts. For context, my family is black and Auntie B's fiance is white. The day was a mix of family dynamics and chaos. Auntie Carly is currently pregnant and her baby shower is coming up soon. This time, my family isn't hosting, but I know there will be challenges. At least now I have a better understanding of how to handle these situations and set boundaries when needed. And that's the end of that story.
I think
but
you need to go limited contact once you turn 18, honestly.
dude, yeah. Oh my god. That was crazy.
Ay, ay, ay.
Ay, ay, ay. I mean, listen,
These kids are exhausting.
I'm the youngest of all my siblings and all my cousins, so
Yeah.
I never had to deal with annoying younger people around.
Mhm.
I was the annoying younger person. So I feel like from what it seems like, it's that seems like how it just must be with children like that around. And it's annoying because
Yeah.
the same people that are parenting you are parenting them, and even though there's a huge age difference, it's still you see the inequality of
Mhm.
I don't know, that behavior, and so that must be very frustrating.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of middle of the road in terms of ages. I have a lot older cousins, and then I have cousins around my age, and then I have much younger cousins.
Mm-hmm.
My cousins' kids,
Yeah.
who, basically my cousins. I'm usually the babysitter, kind of the de facto, just because I like to hang out with the kids and I
Yeah.
like playing with them.
You choose.
Sam and I usually choose to go play with kids and stuff.
Nice.
And never had these experiences.
Yeah.
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 Like those kids are crazy, but like just
Crazy.
because they want to keep playing, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so tired. I want to sit down.
Right. They're not like eating
Yeah.
towers of cupcakes.
My roommate wanted an unfair split of rent, so I gave her an ultimatum.
Get out of my place.
I, 32 female, have a roommate, let's call her Dawn, 24 female, who likes things to be split equally depending on the number of people living in the apartment. Makes sense. Rent, utilities, Wi-Fi, etc. Currently, we live in a 3-2 apartment where she and I split the rent equally, 50-50, $1,000 each, but utilities are split 3 ways as my boyfriend, let's call him Mo, 30 male, lives with us as well. By the way, this comes from one butterscotch 2179. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Sophia.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, him and I have the room with its own bathroom, and she has the biggest room in the apartment with 2 closets and a private balcony. But the way the apartment is set up, she uses the hallway bathroom that would be shared with the 3rd, smaller bedroom. No one is in the 3rd room, and we both agreed that would just be a communal room. When Mo moved in, she was trying, and still is, to have us split rent 3 ways because there are 3 people in the apartment. I disagreed and told her absolutely not because she wasn't losing anything in terms of space. She still has her own bathroom and the biggest room in the apartment. I was okay with splitting utilities 3 ways because that would go up. My boyfriend is literally never home unless I am home, as we do Uber when the other works for extra income. On the rare occasion he is home, he stays in the room home the whole time until I get home. Additionally, I told her Mo and I don't care if she wants to just be in her sports bra and boy shorts, because my man doesn't think she's attractive. 1, he doesn't get crushes on lesbians, which my roommate, and secondly, he's into personalities, and Dawn doesn't have the easiest personality to get along with. The main thing being, she says she's not a man hater, sapphic, but with how she talks about men, it says otherwise. Anyway, recently she brought up the idea of having her coworker move in. Let's call this coworker Belle, which Mo and I are okay with. But she's back on the whole, everyone splits the rent equally 4 ways, which means my boyfriend and I would still be paying $1,000, and she and Belle would pay $500 each. My boyfriend stated that with the amount we pay for just our room, plus an extra $200, we could afford our own 2x2 apartment in the same complex and not have to deal with anyone. However, I just renewed the lease, so we are essentially stuck in this apartment until December of 2026. My boyfriend and I agreed that since there are 3 rooms and 2 people to each bathroom, if Belle moves in, then the rent should be split 3 ways, and the utilities, Wi-Fi, etc. be split 4 ways. Both Mo and I plan on explaining this to Dawn before the possible 3rd roommate moves in, 4th roommate actually, in November, but knowing Dawn, I have a feeling that she will dig her heels in and give us pushback. Currently, only Dawn and I are on the actual lease. Mo is not, as he moved in after the renewal, and Belle would not be put on the lease either, per Dawn's words. So Reddit, would I be the a-hole if I tell Dawn to either split the rent into 3rds rather than 4ths, or my boyfriend and I will move out, making her still responsible for 50% of the rent between her and Belle?
Well, you can't because you're on the lease.
Yeah, that would be really
you
crappy
can't
if
do
you
that.
dipped and left her with everything.
You could find other people to sublet to.
For sure. Why don't we just do that? Why don't you
Do
sublet
that.
out your room
Yeah.
and you and Mo get your own space? Because I am just to the point where I don't think that anyone has ever actually agreed to anything civilly in this manner, and you guys are all just getting pissy. And
Yeah.
you're making me pissy.
Yep. No. Again, if you had split this all up by square footage, I would have been happy. But you've made me angry.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
I don't know. My brain can't process it. Update. Background info, because I didn't know people needed this. I would like to start off by saying that I would have never renewed the lease if things had played out this way. But originally, Dawn's friend Renee at the time was on the original lease but never moved in for whatever reason. She was supposed to have the small room, while Dawn had the big room, and Marco, the male tenant at the time, had the medium room with the ensuite bathroom. I moved in about halfway through the original lease and was put on the original lease as well. Upon renewal of the lease, it was agreed that I would get the medium room for 2 reasons. 1, eventually my boyfriend was going to move in. 2, I covered a portion of Marco's last month's payment because Dawn was going on a trip to PA and didn't want to have to dip into her spending money. We all signed the renewal and took Marco off. We all agreed to split rent equally 3 ways, even with the possibility of my boyfriend moving in, as that was the stipulation in me renewing the lease because I didn't have to. At the last minute, before rent was due on the first month of the new lease, Renee bailed and ghosted us. Even after I told Dawn multiple times Renee wasn't acting like someone who wanted to leave her uncle's place, as she was taking forever to respond to any messages, but Dawn would see her posting on social media constantly. But she's on the lease, so she still has to pay. If it wasn't for my boyfriend helping us out with rent that month, roughly $600, we wouldn't be in this apartment today. Once we knew Renee wasn't moving in, Dawn and I agreed we would split everything 50-50 and adjust the utilities when my man moved in. Other things I would like to mention. It wasn't a hostile takeover situation when my boyfriend moved in. As stated before, Dawn has severe trust issues. However, at the point of my boyfriend moving in, we had already been together for 6 months, where out of those 6 months, 4 of them were before the renewal of the lease, in which she knew I wanted to live with my boyfriend, but she wanted more time to get to know him. About 2 months after that, I hairline fractured my ankle in 4 places, ripping all of the ligaments and tendons as well, and I still need surgery and therapy. I needed help just to function, as our apartment is on the 2nd floor, to which Dawn said he could move in to help. During the healing period, about 2 months long, rent was still 50-50, and utilities split 3 ways. After the worst part of the healing process was over is when Dawn wanted to split rent 3 ways, and I said no. Everything stays the way it is, or we can switch rooms, or my boyfriend and I have 2 rooms and she has her room. She disagreed to all those suggestions, even when I stated those were the only ways I'd agree to paying more rent. Now is the current situation where she wants to bring the 4th roommate in. My boyfriend and I do 80% of all the cleaning in the common areas, and I buy all communal cleaning supplies while spending the least amount of time in the apartment. For reference, Dawn works at most 25 hours a week, while my boyfriend and I easily put in 70 to 80 hours a week between our 9 to 5s and doing Uber not to be home. So Dawn can have all the space she wants in the communal areas without having to see us being all coupled up constantly. My friends use my bathroom, her friends use her bathroom, which is twice the size of mine. In my ensuite bathroom, you can't even close the door when sitting on the toilet because your legs prevent the door from closing. My boyfriend doesn't even have his own key, or is on the lease due to Dawn fighting me on it. So we might as well keep the storage. If Dawn and I both agree to sign me off the lease, then I do not have to pay a fee to break the lease, as stated in our agreement, because before I signed on the original lease, 6 months into the original term, they signed a guarantor. So apparently, I would only pay a fee if I broke the lease without her permission. You would be screwing her over, but I get it. For reference, per Dawn's words, she and Belle cannot afford the apartment on their own, eat, and pay utilities. Especially now that Dawn doesn't get food stamps anymore, which she only got in the first place because I convinced her to apply before I even thought about moving in. Until I said something, she had no intentions of doing it. Dawn cannot hold down a job, let alone 2, mainly because she doesn't have a car. So she walks 10 minutes to the restaurant down the street to her shift as a server. In the last 2 years I've known her, she's been in like 5 different jobs. Dawn's room is 100 square foot bigger than mine and 200 square foot bigger than what would be Belle's room.
So Belle is taking the 3rd room.
If Belle is coming in to take the 3rd room, we're not positive yet because they haven't agreed on it.
And so it's 200 square feet then bigger than
Belle's room.
Belle's room.
And 100 square feet bigger than the one that OP
Yes.
and Mo are in.
Yeah.
Which visually,
isn't-
how much is 100 square feet? That's not a ton.
It's not a ton. No. It's not a ton at all. That's a very small difference. Maybe, very much not a big difference. The 200 square feet, I would say that Belle should be paying the least of the rooms.
for sure. And then
Um,
also for bathroom split up,
yes.
big room and tiny room are sharing a bathroom. Medium room has the ensuite.
Okay, so they'd be sharing.
And the only other difference is that the shared bathroom in the hallway is bigger than the one en suite, and biggest room also has a balcony.
Yes. So wait, what's her face? What's her name?
Dawn
Dawn
has the biggest room.
has the biggest room, is sharing the common room or like the outside bathroom with
Belle in the tiny room.
and then OP and her boyfriend are sharing their in-suite bathroom.
The medium room with the ensuite bathroom.
Yes, ensuite bathroom. Okay. Yeah, so Belle should be paying the least. And then I would say honestly,
It sounds
you and
like-
Dawn should be paying about the same in terms of like cuz
And for reference,
Yeah.
we're gonna say the rent is $2,000.
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now
yeah.
they're both paying $1,000. So what would your split up be?
so my split up would probably let's see. Oh, this is off the cuff. Like let's say
Are you saying like
Belle
$100 difference for 100
Yeah,
square feet?
yeah. So like
Okay, so we're
what?
saying-
Belle's like 400 Dawn
No, that's not right. Out of
450.
2,000.
Yeah, well, but then Dawn is like 600. Like let's just say preliminary 400, 600, 500, 500.
600. So you're saying that the medium room between
Oh, it does
the two
pay more. No, wait,
people
that doesn't
would
work.
still pay
Shoot.
1,000.
No, that doesn't work. That's not what I would say.
You've been duped.
I'm trying to do this, but it's not work. So I think okay. So if big room is let's say 9, I have no idea. I need someone who can do math. You guys in the
Math.
comments tell us.
Break that up for us.
Yeah, square footage. Do it by my square footage needs.
Square footage, and then you're saying that whatever the square footage in the medium room is, would then OP and Mo could figure out how to split that however they wanted.
Yes.
But they're just gonna pay for their room. Belle would just pay for her room.
They would
OP
no longer both be paying 1,000 presumably because they were
have a
paying
third
for that
roommate.
third room.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Which
they
is
would
why
no
I
longer be
totally
paying 1,000.
agree at that point. I feel like that works out fine.
I agree.
For sure.
Yeah. So all of your rent would go down.
And I feel like everyone would be happy about that.
Yeah.
Split it up by square foot.
I'm going to let Carly read the story and I'm going to try and do some math.
Great. Dawn's room is 100 square foot bigger than mine and 200 square foot bigger than what would be Belle's room. Yes, they would share a bathroom, but that bathroom has storage and mine does not, as it's half the size. Additionally, Dawn's room has 2 full-sized closets, each one the same size as the closet in my room and in the small room. She also has a private balcony, and her room is the biggest in the apartment. Yeah, you already said that. It can fit 2 queen-size beds we measured for fun. For layout of the apartment, go online to the Arium at Springs Colony in Altamonte, Florida. If you don't believe her room is the biggest in the apartment, I have no reason to lie. And by the way, I have no reason to lie to you guys that we have full episodes for stories just like this. For Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, search up OK Storytime. There's a little bit left.
Yes.
Okay, OP, I came at you pretty harsh at the beginning.
Yeah. Well, that's because you did not make yourself look good. But with the extra
That's
information,
because
I
you
actually
came
from
out
the
with
start said square foot.
Sophia held from the start square footage. I held from the start you were giving me a headache, so I think you should pay some headache money. Is that half a joke? Yes. But you were coming at Dawn pretty harshly with the whole clothing things, bad personality things, and unattractiveness things, which I just didn't like. Rethinking it through, I fully agree with Sophia. I think square footage,
I
because
got it.
you're filling that other room,
Yeah. Mhm.
so that would change things. Were
Mhm.
you leaving that room empty? I think that maybe there could be some workout of like that room being a closet or like storage or extra something for you guys, in which case I would still agree you're using that square footage. If you're fully not doing that, then fine, whatever. Keep it at 1,000 and 1,000. I don't really care anymore. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so I think this is just, I couldn't find the layout.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna try. To
Yeah,
figure it out.
but I think what would be fair, if she has the biggest room, then I think that she should be paying $1,100. Like from the start. So this is before Belle moves in. I think she should be paying $1,100. I think you should have been paying $900 for your room. And so now that Belle's moved in, I think that you should be paying $700 for your room. She should be paying $900, and Belle should be paying $400. So you guys both had a $200 decrease for your room. And I think that would be relatively fair. Obviously, I don't have the square footage or anything, but I think that would be relatively fair of a split. And that all obviously equals to $2,000.
I think I found the floor plan.
Ooh. And while you're doing that, I'm
Yeah.
going to switch the titles and do all that stuff.
Oh wait, we have a little bit more of the story.
Okay,
though.
maybe finish
Let's
it
finish
and
the
then we can do
story,
it.
and
Yeah.
then we'll show you guys this.
Because
floor
we spent a
plan.
lot of time talking
way
about
too much
math.
time about this. But I was heated.
Me too.
I tried talking to her tonight about everything. She agreed and then went to her room just to text me 2 hours later that she didn't want to talk and we could do it another day. I'll try tomorrow before we all have to head out to work or errands, etc. I don't fault her for any of the above, but it's clear you guys needed more details because I am being told that I forced her to do this or that. Y'all don't know me to just make wild assumptions like that. I'm 32 years old and know how to have adult conversations without putting people down or acting like a knucklehead. Except for the fact that you're 32 years old, you said that she had no personality.
Yeah.
Said that she was ugly and basically was really weird about how she could walk around her own apartment.
Really wondering what you told her to her face.
Also, she's 25 and you're 32, and that is a big gap to be a little bit of a more mature person and understand that she sucks a little bit.
My boyfriend sneaked with my sister, who's about to be married in 3 days.
Break up.
Me, 26 female, and boyfriend, 27 male, have been together since our 3rd year in university. Once we both graduated, my boyfriend got a job across the country in Anaheim, and I followed him.
What?
You followed him to Anaheim?
Does he work at Disney?
He works in the castle.
Wait, I'm going to say, does he work for the mouse? 'Cause I don't want to
in his
sponsor it.
castle house. By the way, this comes from user help throwaway 1212, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Angie.
And we are here to give you good advice, goofily, but we don't have all the answers. So if you would do something different, let us know in the comments. And OP says, this weekend is my little sister, 24 female. It's her wedding. My sister and I have always gotten along. It was really hard on both of us when I moved so far away, and we kept in contact literally every day. She and my boyfriend never really had any sort of a friendship, simply due to the fact that they never spent much time together. The first couple days we spent at my parents' place, everything was normal. We landed around noon and spent the day with my family. My sister was running around meeting with caterers and stuff, so she didn't get home until later in the evening. We said our usual hellos and caught up and then headed to bed. Monday morning is when things felt weird. I noticed immediately at breakfast. My boyfriend and sister were much more talkative with each other than usual.
I'm just imagining in Hamilton when Angelica comes home and Eliza's like, Angelica. And then there's like the whole, there's the whole little thing between Hamilton and Angelica.
I'm not here for you.
Well, that's the different song, but yeah, basically.
Oh, what?
No, like the song where they're like, my sister's arriving today. Angelica, Eliza, the Schuyler sisters.
And then
And
there's
then
that
they have a
part with
thing.
George Washington.
I don't know if you guys have got all of those like Hamilton videos that everyone was dressing up and then like no one did anyone get those where they were dressing up and then like reacting at like acting out this
Well,
song?
everyone's algorithm is
yeah.
actually different.
Well, some people might have it. Whatever.
I also noticed him giving her these weird looks,
He
and
keeps
my
looking at her-
sister, he's like,
And she's like, "Do you have something in your eye?"
yeah, you. I've got an apple in my eye, and it's in the shape of you.
And also, I do have some dust in my eye.
I also noticed my sister smiling or smirking back. I didn't think too much of it, but then after lunch, they announced they would be going to meet the wedding planner. The planner was in Brooklyn, and my boyfriend said he wanted to check out a used game store there, so he was going to tag along. Okay, cool. But when they got back about 45 minutes later, he smelled like her perfume.
Well, maybe he just, gave her a sniff. He was like, "You smell so good." And she's like, "Do you want some of my perfume?" And it was super wholesome. And he was like, "You know
Yeah.
what? I have to really, deal with my masculinity and my relationship to, feminine things." And she was like, "I really appreciate that you told me that." Could have been that. Did we think about that?
He's like, "I want to smell like a hot lady I have a crush on.
That also might have been it.
Let me smell your hot lady smell."
Sniff, sniff.
This isn't a huge deal because her car reeks of it, and it could have just stuck on him, I guess, but it was still weird. The next night, I woke up around 2 a.m. and I noticed my boyfriend was not in bed. I waited a couple minutes, and when he didn't come back, I got up to look for him. Right as I opened my room door, he was getting ready to walk back inside. He looked shocked to see me, and when I asked where he was, he gave me a mumbling answer about throwing something in the garbage.
Was he fully dressed?
Yeah.
How was he dressed? Was he dressed like he had just got back to the house, or was he dressed like he was coming back to bed?
Was he dressed like he just boinked your sister?
What did his hair look like?
Like he just boinked your sister? I noticed again he smelt like my sister's perfume, but I didn't say anything. He brushed past me to the bathroom located in our room and turned on the tap. I heard him washing his face and brushing his teeth. So today, Wednesday, I noticed
Classic.
my boyfriend and sister weren't going near each other as much as they'd been getting along the last few days. They were now keeping their distance. I asked both of them separately if everything's okay, and both assured me everything was fine. Even asking, "Why are you asking if I'm okay?"
They literally went through. Why would you think that anything's wrong?
They
What did you think it was wrong?
You think something's wrong? What's wrong? Why would you think something's wrong? Nothing's wrong. We didn't kiss and haven't been.
I didn't kiss your sister or try on her perfume.
When we went to bed tonight, I decided to pretend to sleep and see what my boyfriend did. Around 11:30, he called my name multiple times, to which I did not respond. I then heard him get up and creep out of bed.
Tisk, tisk, tisk. You're a fool and a cheater.
Your sister.
You fell for the old
and
pretend
your
to sleep.
sister, bro. Your sister, who you're supposed to be like close, you talked every day,
Yeah.
immediately starts hooking up with your boyfriend when you bring him into town is
Yikes.
crazy.
Yeah, that's not your sister.
It's
That's your
crazy.
That's your hater.
Sure, op, dude. I then heard him get up and creep out of bed. I waited until he was outside the door and then followed him. I saw him walk into the bathroom across the hall. I waited in my doorway for a minute, and then I saw my sister come out of her room and walk into the same washroom.
I was doing the.
Ooh.
No, I was doing. You didn't understand the joke, so I
What'd you
stopped.
do?
I was doing the 007 or no Mission Impossible because she was like
I
ice.
heard it.
Yeah, thanks. Okay.
I understood.
Okay. And well, I've explained the joke, so it's less funny.
I have no idea what to do. I call Tom Cruise. Do I go to my sister's fiance? My parents? Do I confront them? I'm currently hiding in the living room, and it's been about 2 hours since this happened. My boyfriend has not come looking for me yet.
No, he doesn't know you're playing hide and
Bro.
seek.
Do you know how
Yeah, you
fast
should
I
know,
would
yeah.
have burst into
Yeah.
that bathroom and
Oh,
said,
yeah.
"You're gross.
Yeah.
I'm leaving. I don't care what any of y'all do, but I'm out."
I'm out of here. You're a bunch
Peace.
of cheaters, and I think you're stinky, and you belong in the bathroom because that's where smelly things are flushed down the toilet.
Yeah.
Hop in. I'm flushing you.
Don't talk to me.
Don't call me. Don't come by my house. We're done.
We've got comments. In a New Day says you have to confront them. It's going to be hard, but you need to know what's going on, and so does her fiance. Williams 33 says, "Wow, you need to go to that bathroom right now and openly bust them. Seriously, 2 hours? Go bust down that door." Yeah, I know. I changed it.
6-7 said, I heard Mission Impossible. It wasn't funny, though. Damn. Okay. You throw a couple jokes out there. They're
Yeah.
not all hits. They're all spaghetti on the wall.
It's funny because
Damn.
I thought you were laughing at the fact that it said go bust in that
No.
door.
I was thinking that
That's
too.
also fun.
And then I thought, because I said go bust down instead of bust in.
Bust it.
Update. So we have this little stair landing area with a couch. You can see the upstairs hallway pretty clearly. I was sitting there with my phone and a blanket when my sister walked out of her room and into the bathroom. About 3 minutes later, my boyfriend walked in. The bathroom locks are the type you can unlock with the turn of a coin. I I stood outside for literally 10 minutes and almost heard nothing, just some shuffling here and there. So I open the door quietly, and I see my sister on the bathroom counter looking at something on her phone. My boyfriend has half his body out the bathroom window. My sister jumped off the counter and said my name, and my boyfriend pulled his head back. He had a pipe in his hand.
I have no idea what's going on.
It
You
turns
have-
out they've been sneaking around because they've been devil's lettuce buddies the last couple days.
Okay.
Well, is that the only thing?
Is that it? And why did he feel the need to hide it?
Yeah, I don't know. I had no clue they were smoking together or that my sister smoked at all. The first night we were here, he was going downstairs to get a glass of water and smelled the smelly smell when he walked past her bathroom. He asked her about it the next day, and that's when they started to schmirk together. He smelled like her perfume because they wanted to spray something to get the smell off them. That's why he washed his face and brushed his teeth when he came back into the room last night, so I wouldn't smell it on him. They were being so sneaky about it because little sis was unsure that I would approve about her habit. I don't care at all. I knew my boyfriend is a casual smoker since the day we met.
Well, then why did he feel the need to hide it? I think that's honestly still suspicious to me.
Yeah.
Because if he knew that you knew that he was a casual smoker, then why did he feel the need to be so secretive? He would have just told your sister, oh, she's chill with that when I do it.
Yeah.
This is
OP
weird.
says, I'm very relieved, to say the least.
I don't trust them.
Thank you all for your help. I feel like a complete idiot.
No.
Sorry for wasting your time.
They're tricking you.
But you know what'll never waste your time is you listening to full episodes with stories like this on your favorite podcast platform, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Just search OK Storytime wherever you listen to podcasts to get the whole kit and the caboodle.
True that.
Kit, that's what they call it, the kit and caboodle.
The kitten caboodle. What is a caboodle?
There's a second update.
I don't buy this. I think it's incredibly suspicious that they're hiding all of this smoking. So, like, they're literally doing it in the passed away of
Well,
night.
I think it does make more sense that it was so obvious. You know, like, you'd think that if you hypothetically put yourself in their shoes and you, like, were making out with your sister's boyfriend, or, like, you hooked up with him and you're engaged to be married, and then you sit down at the, at the table for breakfast the next day, and you guys are, like, giving each other funny looks, you'd think you would not do that.
That's what I'm saying.
So, like,
That if they were cheating.
it being just the smoking,
However,
I think makes more sense given that behavior.
However, let's go back because remember OP was like, they were acting weird the next day. They wouldn't talk to each other. They wouldn't look at each other.
That's true.
Like, why are we acting that way? If it was just we're smoke buddies. We're smoking buddies. Strange.
27 and 26. Okay, that's too old to be.
Yeah, to be like sneaking around from your partner, OP's boyfriend is sneaking around, and then also your sister. Like, it's weird. Like, you're an adult. Who cares if your sister doesn't approve?
Update number 2. I feel silly. Boyfriend and sister were sneaking around because they smoked together, not because they were having a spicy sleep. Little sis wasn't sure I would approve, so they were being secretive. There are comments. I must be more cold tolerant than other people or something, because even in my dirtbag days, I would have gone outside for this instead of hanging out in a bathroom.
Yeah.
That's the part that struck me. How rude to do this inside. Also dumb. If you really don't want anyone to find out you are smoking, you really don't act like they did. It's like they were asking to get caught. Everything from smoking in the bathroom to using the smell of strong perfume to cover up the smell is stupid. It's because of this that I believe it when OP says that the boyfriend only smokes on occasion. There's a second comment that says if she was fine with her boyfriend, why did he not tell her sister she would probably be
Dang.
chill and decide to sneak around? Reply, boyfriend flew into town with OP, ergo, he did not have his own. This was the sister's devil's lettuce. And sister said, okay, but only if you promise not to tell my sister. They who hold the devil's lettuce hold the power. Reply, I think sometimes in relationships you have to ask yourself if a secret is worth looking like you're sleeping with your girlfriend's sister.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree. Sometimes you got to be like, my girlfriend's sister really wants me to keep that we're smoking together a secret. But I know that my girlfriend's fine with me smoking. And I know that that would look pretty suspicious if she woke up and found me not there. Maybe I should not keep it a secret.
Comment 3, should I drown myself with another woman's perfume to cover the smell of the devil's lettuce from my girlfriend who knows I smoke? Such a hard decision. Comment number 4, my siblings and cousins take walks a lot during big family events, too. And we all know what that is.
Yep. The classic cousin walk.
The classic Cousin stroll, taking a nice stroll. It's just such a lovely night. Why don't we take a walk?
Yeah.
That is the end of that story.
But we got another one coming up.
Do
My roommate kept turning off my lights, and I've had enough.
well, then turn him off.
I'm not entirely sure who's more so in the wrong, so let me know if I'm being unreasonable. I live in a house with 5 people, including myself, for college. It's a 6-bedroom house with 3 bathrooms. 2 bedrooms share a bathroom, and each bathroom is located in between 2 bedrooms that share it. By the way, this comes from Dear Independent 38, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Riley, the one who can't read.
I'm Dakota, the one with the cube.
I'm Carly, the one with the light switch right now.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. So let us know what you would do in the comments down below. OP says, lately one of my roommates, let's call her Jenna, has been, in my opinion, very controlling about lights and electricity. There have been multiple times where we would be hanging out in the living room and Jenna would be with us. The second Jenna wants to go up to her room, she would turn the lights off on us, who are still hanging out in that space. She has also gone into my room without my permission to turn the lights off twice. The first time we had a bunch of friends over and we were all getting ready to go out. I was continuously going in and out of my room to do my makeup and get ready in general. Sometimes I would go downstairs and leave the light on in my room just to say hi to someone who got here, but I would not be out of my room for more than 10 minutes at a time. Well, she brought her brother into the house, and while giving him a tour of the upstairs, she went into my room and turned my life off with her brother there too. I was really frustrated with this because I was continuously going into my room and I did not give her permission for her to enter my personal space, let alone her brother, who is a complete stranger to me. It was extra uncomfortable for me because my room was cluttered as I was going through a bit of a depressive phase. No food messes, just clutter and clothes. This may be TMI, but I recently also got an IUD placed, which caused very irregular and heavy bleeding, so I had bloody underpants on my floor that I am sure her brother saw. After this happened, Jenna met with us while we were exchanging gases outside and said that she wanted all of us to be more mindful about the lights because it would save us all money. I said that her concerns are valid, but if someone is continuously going in and out of a room, they should be able to leave the light on as it wastes more electricity to turn it on and off rapidly than it does just to leave it on. Than it does just to leave it on. After this, I did some research and found what I said wasn't actually true, but I did believe it at the time. She went into my room without my permission for a second time just last night. I was carrying down an empty drink cup to fill up, as well as some garbage from my room. It was later in the day, so I left my light on so I could see where I was going while my hands were full to use my phone flashlight. When I got downstairs, a different roommate was downstairs, so we chatted for about 5 minutes before I went up. In the middle of us talking, we heard someone leave their room to do something very quickly and then go back into their room and shut the door. When I got back up to my room, I found my light and my fan turned off. I am very frustrated with this again. I did not give her permission to go into my room. I also explained to her that one night that I saw no issue with leaving a light on if you are quickly going back to your room, and she didn't say anything to disagree with me. I also think a text saying, "Mind if you turn your light off?" or "Mind if I go into your room and turn your light off?" is basic courtesy. She has also gone into my roommate Sally's room. Sally's room is the only room occupied on the first floor, and she has her own bathroom. Although people generally use it when people are hanging out in the kitchen or living room, Jenna will regularly go into Sally's room and unplug the cord for various items, her lamp, her fan, and her rechargeable electric toothbrush in her bathroom. Sally told me that sometimes when she goes to brush her teeth in the morning, her toothbrush will be passed away because Jenna randomly unplugged it. There's so much more she has done, but the light situation is the most recent problem we've had with her. We want to sit her down and have a conversation about boundaries. But she's had a bad habit of saying, I didn't mean to make you guys hate me, instead of just apologizing like a normal person. Also learned behavior. She will also play the you hate me card and then continue to do the thing we allegedly hate her for. How do we communicate with someone who does not take accountability and plays victim when she makes people upset with her? Update, we got it here.
I would aggressively agree with her. She's like, you guys hate me. I'll be like, yeah, I hate you when you go into my room without my permission after I ask you over and over again not to. So the fun thing about that is all you have to do to get me to stop hating you is to stop doing that, and
Okay.
it all goes away.
This is the first layer. I'm going to dive into the second. Going to college and rooming with someone is such a weird thing. It's like entering teenage years again, in my opinion, because you have two people who have been with their parents for, assumably, for the or whoever has been guarding them for all their lives, and now they're on their own.
Yeah.
And now guess who is the decision maker now?
The child.
The child. And so the decisions this person, and you learn this through college, and then by the time you get out of college, you're like, okay, now I can actually do things. I really think this poor girl has been hammered in her head that having the lights on is the absolutely worst thing you could ever do.
Yeah, it's the cardinal sin.
Yeah. And a little bit of love for this girl. Be like, girl, I love you. I don't hate you. But we got to figure out this light situation. Can we have gas lamps?
It's by candlelight for the rest of the year.
Can we have candle lights? I just need some light to walk around. I'm clumsy. Let's figure this out, girl.
I feel like they've tried that. I feel like they
haven't sat down with her yet.
They haven't?
No, they're about to.
I feel like they did. Well, maybe they did, but they didn't really get to the meat. Because they did have a sit down where she was like, remember, she was like, oh, well, when you turn the lights on and off, they actually cost more. And then she found out she was wrong about that.
So update. My roommate left without giving us a heads up and took the Wi-Fi during midterm season, along with entering people's rooms without permission. Jenna has been sending a lot of passive-aggressive texts in the house group chat. One morning, Harold, she insists I use this name, LOL, was getting ready for clinicals at 4:30 a.m. She turned the hallway light on so she could see where she was going around the house. The second she did, Jenna came out of her room and complained about the hallway light being too bright and turned it off on Harold. The funny thing is, Jenna had a bright pink LED light set up in her room, and that was on all night. Even with all that light in her room, I guess she was so bothered by Harold's hallway light, she had to wake up at 4:30 in the morning to turn off. Harold ended up leaving about 5 a.m. Jenna texted the group chat at 6:20 saying that everyone needs to be more cautious about locking the door. The thing is, we've been having trouble with the door ever since we moved in. Even if you press the buttons and do the motion to lock it, it sometimes does not lock. I texted the group chat saying the door is finicky and not to place blame on people because we all have accidentally left it unlocked after locking it, including Jenna. The problem is, no one else texts passive-aggressively in the group chat when someone makes a mistake like this. Jenna always notices other people's mistakes but doesn't realize that she makes the same ones constantly. There's also footage on the Ring camera of Harold locking it, and the Ring picks up a click that sounds like it was successfully locked. After this, Jenna went up to Harold and said, "Are you mad at me about the text?" Harold said, "Yes, of course." She was mad as it was directly targeted at her. Jenna said that she had no idea it was Harold who left it, but Jenna was just giving Harold a hard time about the lights in the morning. So who else would it have been? We all decided to have a house meeting to discuss certain things. The main priority was upcoming Halloween party. Jenna really wanted to leave the main door completely locked and have our side door with the porch be our only entrance and exit. She was very worried about strangers coming into the house. She insists that we live in a bad part of town, but we don't. We live right next to a college. All the houses around are either occupied by students or families. We all decided that having the front door be locked the whole time wouldn't make much sense, as people regularly exchange gases by the side door with the porch. So it would be an awkward mess having so many people coming in and out of just that door. Additionally, the Ring camera is only hooked up to the main door. So if something bad were to happen, it wouldn't be caught on video. We compromised with her and said that we could lock the front door in between each person coming in. And once the majority of the people were there, we would use our second safety lock. She also wanted to only be downstairs because she didn't want people in her room. We all explained that all of the rest of us would like the ability to have private conversations with our friend groups in our rooms. I can't do this anymore.
Did you just
I
have to
can't.
explain the concept
I
of
can't.
privacy to her?
I can't do this. This is literally like I'm losing brain cells reading this story.
At some point, you gotta lay down the law. You gotta hit her with a little logic.
Oh my gosh.
And you say, I was gonna
love
do a
him. He's a
logic
good one.
bar. No, but for real, it's like, it needs to be like, all right, this is ridiculous. First of all, you need to put her on blast. You say, your light's on all night. That's crazy that you're controlling our lights. Your light's on all night. Second, the light, see how I don't care that your light's on all night? I'm not gonna go in there and turn it off.
Yeah.
Because it's just a light. They don't cost that much money. And it's on until
Oh my god, we're still
you
about
split the cost of a light bulb between 3 people living in a place.
6.
6?
Yep. Yeah.
And I assume they're splitting the utilities.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually like a third of a cent, maybe 1/6 of a cent that you're paying.
We said that she's more than welcome to lock her door so no one goes into her room. But it's not fair if none of us could bring our own friends into our room. The second we agreed on this, she got extremely quiet and just went on her phone for the rest of the meeting. We all talked about a few other things, one of them being the lock. We all came to the conclusion that we need the door to be looked at by maintenance and that no one was maliciously leaving it unlocked. Everyone wants it to be locked. Our door just kind of sucks. We also just spoke about the heat. Our roommate Sally suffers from epilepsy. She's been seizing more often because of how cold the house is. Jenna insisted that we didn't turn the heat on until November, and our house will be under 55 degrees most mornings. I said that Sally's health is indefinitely more important than any amount of money we save.
Indefinitely and infinitely.
Jenna just said, my family doesn't turn the heat on until November. But whatever.
Oh, it looks like we're not your family, though, are we, Jenna? I hate this person.
We reminded
I'm sorry,
her.
I don't. I hate her behavior.
No, I just, this story's wild. I'm not confused. I'm just like, why are we here?
She's giving your roommate seizures. She sucks. She sucks.
We reminded her that it's Sally's health we're talking about. And Jenna just said, but it gets so hot in my room. Okay, we open a window. We compromised on only having heat at 70 degrees and only downstairs. I said that since the heat would only be on downstairs, Jenna's room wouldn't get as hot. And if it did, she should always open a window. At this point, she was completely checked out of the conversation. She was on her phone. Oh my God. We also had to bring up the passive-aggressive texts and notes that she's been leaving around. We agreed that discussing things in person is much more helpful than making one person feel othered with group texts. I, of course, had to chime in at the end and say that my room is off limits without my permission. And Jenna, she rolled her eyes. And just like that, the meeting was over. And she was basically seething with rage. She got up and said, I'm going home. And went upstairs to get a couple of things. In the process, she actually locked herself out of her own bedroom. Sally and Harold are better people than me because they got to work and pick the lock.
Nah, she would have had to call a locksmith if it was me, dude. I'd have said, hey, I'm not an expert. I don't want to hurt the lock.
Oh, you want to know how they did it? Okay, so I'm going to tell you. It took a paper clip, a nail file, a butter knife, and about 30 minutes to get it unlocked. In the process, Jenna said multiple times, does it normally take this long to pick it? And are you guys actually sure you know what you're doing? What a lovely girl. 2 days later, she's gone like the wind. She didn't tell any of us her plans to leave. She just did it in the morning. She brought her dad over, and took everything she brought to the apartment, including the router. None of us wanted the Wi-Fi responsibilities to be on Jenna because we all thought she was a flight risk. She insisted that the house meant everything to her and that she wouldn't leave no matter what. 4 months later, she proved us right. It is midterm season now, and we have no Wi-Fi. But if you got Wi-Fi, go to your favorite podcast platform. Search up OK Storytime on iHeartRadio, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. And for as much Wi-Fi as you have, we have that many stories to match it.
We have stories that'll make your Wi-Fi go yum, yum, yum.
You know what? I'm going to keep going into it. Sally's dad brought a router over. But of course, that only gave us 3 hours of Wi-Fi because Jenna canceled the entire service. 3 of us major in either nursing or medical imaging, and Jenna is a business major. She knew dang well how much she would be screwing us by taking the Wi-Fi, and she did it anyway, all because she didn't get her way in every situation. Currently riding on my hotspot, but at least she agreed to cover her part of the rent until we find someone new to replace her. We changed the code to the lock, thank goodness, so we wouldn't have any more surprises. And thank the Lord above that this story's over!
My roommate reported me because of a simple, harmless request.
Well, you shouldn't have requested.
I was rooming with a girl. Let's call her Lisa. We were friends in high school, so I assumed things would go smoothly since we already knew each other. Big mistake. The first half of our first semester went well. We were getting along and having fun. By the way, this comes from user Organic Rabbit 2917. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Riley.
I'm Carly.
And we are here to give you good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. So if you would do something different, let us know in the comments, as OP says. One day, I woke up at around 7 a.m., hearing the voice of a man in the room. I opened my eyes and saw that Lisa was taking an online exam on Zoom with her camera pointed in my direction. I didn't know what to do, so I immediately got up, got ready, and left the room. I assumed it wouldn't happen again, so I never said anything about it. 3 weeks later, the same thing happened again. So this time I sent her a message asking if she could take her Zoom exam somewhere else or maybe on her bed where the camera wouldn't be pointing at me. All she replied with was, okay. After I got back to the room after my classes, she had completely stopped talking to me. I assumed she would be fine in a few days, but she never talked to me again. After we stopped talking, she continued to take her exams in our room with her camera pointed in my direction multiple times. So I decided to ask my RA for help. The RA told me to talk to her about it. I didn't really want to and didn't know how to, so I just changed the position of my bed so it wouldn't be in front of her desk. We continued not speaking to each other for the rest of the first semester and the beginning of the second semester. That is, until one day, I saw her putting a lot of her stuff in boxes. I assumed she was just organizing, but then she started packing all her things, and the next thing I knew, she was moving out. Honestly, I was happy because being there with her without talking was so uncomfortable that I even considered moving out and commuting. My life got so much more comfortable after she left, but I still always wondered what I did to make her leave. Anyway, last month, I was sent an email from my university regarding a report that was made against me by my ex-roommate. In the letter I received, I was accused of having prohibited items, candles, and damaging my ex-roommate's property by cutting her comforter and leaving a sticky residue on it. Yes, I did have candles, but only because they helped me deal with the anxiety of having to live with someone I wasn't comfortable with. The other accusation of damaging her property was false. I would never do something like that because I wanted to coexist peacefully, even if we weren't speaking. My hearing date was supposed to be last month, but I never went because the email that was sent to me originally was marked as unsafe, since the sender wasn't on my safe senders list. Some of the content in the email was blocked, and it asked me to provide my username and password. Naturally, I assumed it was a scam since I'd been scammed before, so I never finished reading it. It wasn't until yesterday, March 10th, that I received an email from the residency director at my school that I realized the original email was legit. I immediately replied and explained I thought it was a scam, which is why I never opened it. I also told them I would like to reschedule the hearing, but I wasn't willing to be present while my ex-roommate was there because she gives me severe anxiety. I also have a strong history of mental health issues, and I wasn't willing to risk my mental health and emotional health by being near her. Clarification, my ex-roommate moved out of the room back in January, way before I received the email containing the allegations letter. I researched and found that I should provide evidence contradicting the allegations made against me, but I had nothing that I could use to prove my innocence because I didn't even know her comforter was cut until I saw that I was being accused of it. I asked my friends as well as someone I know who works for campus safety, and they all said I should explain myself the best I could, even without evidence. If you have any advice, please let me know because I had no idea how to prepare for something like this without proof. Riley, what's your advice?
Like my college roommate, I only had one college roommate for like half a semester because the semester after that, the vid hit. And he literally left every weekend to go see his girlfriend in Georgia. That was my life.
So you had a chill
Simple.
situation.
But also, he had a lot of stuff in my apartment. Like, I'm pretty sure he had so much stuff, it was like over the halfway limit. But he had a water purifier, and that actually changed my life.
And you were glugging on that.
And I was like, I didn't realize how important good water was for me. And ever since then, I had access to really good water. Drink water, everyone, if you haven't. Here, everyone, take a toast. You too, Carly. To water. Let me know if you've drinking your sip yet. But
no.
Yeah, dude, I have nothing for this. I think if this was me, I would have been like, "What's up?" I'd try to find a solution rather than not talk to someone for a whole entire semester. I understand that, like, you know, it's hard to do it, but you can also the RA in this scenario.
Well, and again, that sounds like really like if you really couldn't
Yeah.
get a single conversation going for multiple months and it was bothering you the whole time.
The RA,
Like that is extreme anxiety.
Yes, and the RA should have stepped in. As an RA, I would have stepped in and like dealt with that. Thankfully, nothing like this ever happened on my hall because it was just a bunch of dudes, and they were just like, football, girls, and then I was like, all right, whatever. Is there an update?
There is. First off, the director told me that it was reported that I allegedly cut up my ex-roommate, Lisa's comforter, and that there was soot left on it as well, which was confusing to me because the allegations letter I received stated there was a sticky residue left on the comforter, not soot. I told the residency director that I wanted to strongly deny the allegations made against me, and then she proceeded to ask me if I had any previous issues with Lisa. I told her exactly what I mentioned in my last post about how everything was going smoothly at the beginning of the first semester, but then we stopped speaking to each other after I sent her a message asking her to take her exams elsewhere where I wouldn't be on camera. I also stated that apart from that, I didn't have any other issues with her. She went on and asked about something else Lisa had reported me for, which was me locking the door when she would leave for short periods of time. I told her that I was not sure about that and that the doors lock automatically from the outside, so it was possible that she didn't switch the lock to where the door is unlocked completely. The third thing was brought up that was also reported was that I would passively aggressively hide the remote to the TV and that I would disconnect the TV so she wouldn't be able to use it. In all honesty, I don't understand why I would be reported for doing this considering it was my TV and not hers. I told her I never hid the remote and that the reason I would disconnect the TV was because it was never used by anyone besides me. Lisa never used it because she was always on her phone playing games. Plus, me disconnecting the TV was just a force of habit. Ever since I was little, my dad would always make me, my sister, and my mom disconnect things that aren't being used because he believes that energy is still being pulled, even though it's off, and that they were going to charge him more for the light bill. The residency director said that this was completely understandable since the way I was raised, and that it became a habit. The fourth and final thing that I was reported for was moving around my furniture after I apparently told her not to move around furniture. And the department, whoever's in charge of this, read all this and went, yeah, this needs an official inquiry. She was turning off the TV and moving furniture. Oh!
I was almost a resident director. I'm
glad you weren't.
Yeah. I would have been drunk with power. Imagine that. I would have had 12 boys underneath me just doing whatever. And I say boys because they haven't graduated college yet.
We all heard that. We're gonna move forward. I'm gonna let that one go, and I'm not gonna repeat it. If you want that repeated, you'll have to go back.
Send this to Tusculum University.
You'll have to go back in the stream. This was a complete and utter lie because I never said no to the idea of her wanting to move around furniture because y'all didn't freaking talk to each other. In the beginning of the first semester, Lisa told me how she wanted to move her bed because it was too close to the door, and I told her she could if she wanted to, and I also asked where she would put it because our dorm is pretty small compared to the other ones. So she just dropped the idea of doing it.
Did you hear that yell?
Yeah, what was that?
It was,
Is it you?
no,
What's going on?
it's probably the phone.
Okay.
Bad choice. I know. I said 12 boys and it just came out. I should have said 12.
Gayla
RAs?
said, clip it.
No, don't clip that. No.
Ming Ming's gonna clip it. Okay.
It's probably the Renaissance man.
I then went to tell the residency director that I did move my bed around, but only as a solution to the issue of me being on camera while sleeping during her Zoom calls. And that way, she could still take her exams in the room. And again, the residency director said it was a fair and appropriate solution instead of making a bigger deal out of it. I then finished off by telling the residency director that besides this, I no longer had any issues with Lisa, and that I just wanted us to peacefully coexist in the remainder of our time as roommates. The residency director also asked me if I believed if Lisa had any issues with me or if she was behaving a certain way either before or after she moved out. I told her that I believed she was saying some negative things about me before and after she moved out of the room, which was damaging my reputation in the dorm and at school because I would get strange looks from people Lisa was friends with. Lisa has friends?
I'm surprised she talks to anyone.
But then I also told the residency director that I don't want this to escalate into a bigger issue considering there's less than 2 months left in the semester and that we probably wouldn't see each other after we move out. By the way, if you want to listen to stories in full episodes that are significantly less annoying than this one, go to your favorite podcast platform, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever it is, search OK Storytime, and you can find stories that will make you want to pull less hair out of your head. Yep. Or maybe some stories, I don't know. I mean, they might make you also want to pull hair out of your head, but this one is really just like there's a lot of face palming going on in this story.
Whatever you're going through right now, we probably got a story similar to it. So,
and I will say, you know, severe anxiety is severe anxiety, but my goodness, girl, it sounds like part of why you have anxiety is because nobody ever told you that being out of your comfort zone is actually okay.
Yep.
And maybe you were in an environment where you were never put out of your comfort zone and you were never told you should be out of your comfort zone. Because this is all really annoying, and it could have all been really conquered by conversation.
Absolutely. Instead of the resident director just nitpicking every single thing,
which is so annoying. And then look, you're talking to them and they're like, "Oh yeah, that sounds reasonable. No, that's fine." Your reputation's being damaged. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't think either of y'all's reputation should be anything. How could you have reputation? Y'all didn't talk to each other.
Yeah. Also, I hope you're making good grades in school instead of this only being the thing. This roommate is just making excuses so that she can argue and try to make somebody look bad. Maybear says, agreed.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like you just moved out. Like just move out.
Yeah.
Like you're out. You're gone out of the situation. Now you want to be like petty and vindictive.
Weird.
It's like, and the whole time you didn't speak.
Yeah.
So that's weird.
I don't get it, dude. I don't get it.
You would think that would come out before.
Let's get it over with. I can't with these roommate stories.
Let's finish. After the residency director finished hearing my side of everything she asked about, she finally came to a verdict, which was that the entire case was going to be dismissed, since it wasn't a situation where anything serious took place, so there was not need for either side to receive any consequences for what happened. Finally, I wanted to thank everyone who provided me with advice, as well as assurance that everything was going to turn out fine. Many of your comments helped me a lot in dealing with the situation and knowing what to say. Thank you all so much. That is the most nothing burger story we have ever read.
Second. Well, you know what? I'll give this one first, and the one we read before this a very big second.
Absolute nothing burger. My roommate acted nice in front of me, but then her deception got exposed.
This is her stabbing you in the back.
Ding, ding. I am a college sophomore living in an on-campus dorm building. Last year, I, 19 female, had a great relationship with my roommate. We'll call her Brittany, also 19 female. We didn't argue the entire year, respected each other's privacy, and used each other to vent about things without judgment. We were going to live together this year. By the way, this comes from a user, a college time throwaway, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. Boom! Go there! Go and submit them there! So, Brittany joined a sorority and ended up getting a last-minute opportunity to move into the sorority house to save money, which she took, and I didn't have any problem with this. There's no ill will between the two of us, and I still talk to Brittany all the time. However, this did leave me with a predicament. I had to find someone else to move into our double with me, or I would get stuck with a random roommate. This may work for some people at other schools, but at my college, going random has a reputation for turning into a disaster, mostly because it's such a large campus that if you don't have someone you can room with and have to be a random, chances are there's a reason. Like you're messy or rude or blah, 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 blah. I took to my class's Facebook page and found my current roommate, Molly. Molly seemed nice. She agreed with all of the basic stuff that I wanted in a roommate, like not looking to schmirk or party in the room, having a similar sleep schedule, blah, blah, blah. And 2 days before room assignments closed, she officially jumped into the empty spot in my room. We've lived together now for almost an entire semester. Things were awkward at the beginning as we didn't have the time to meet face-to-face before living together, but I thought that overall it was going great. From my point of view, it seemed like we were developing a relationship that was similar to the one that I had with my roommate from last year, which I was happy about until last night. I was hanging out with one of my other friends in a ground floor lounge in our building. We'll call this friend Danielle. Danielle and I were sitting and talking when Molly came around the corner of the lobby. The lounge is all glass, so you can see people entering and exiting our building via the lobby, which shares a wall with the lounge. We both waved at her. Danielle looked at me funny and asked why I waved at her. I explained she was my roommate this year and told her the story of how we became roommates. She said, "Oh, I didn't know that." I haven't known Danielle long, but I could tell something was up, and after minimal prodding, Danielle told me the whole story. Apparently, Molly has a Finsta that she uses to complain about stuff in her day-to-day life, which, to anyone who's not aware of what a Finsta stands for fake Instagram.
Fake Instagram.
So it's her fake Instagram profile that she uses to kind of like a semi-public diary, but only she gets to decide who can see her posts on this account. I didn't know about this Finsta, but Danielle had been a part of a group in one of their shared classes last year and knows her well enough that Molly let her follow her account and see her posts. Danielle had seen a couple of posts on the Finsta about how Molly's roommate was getting on her nerves, which I guess Finstaing is the healthiest form of communication, right?
Yeah, of course, when you want to get something off of your chest, just put it on social media for everyone else to read.
Put it in a secret anonymous diary for the public to enjoy.
Checks out.
Dear God. Danielle didn't tell me about these posts because she didn't know I was the roommate until last night when this happened. This did hurt a little bit, but I figured it was all right. She just needed to vent. But when Danielle showed me the posts involving me, it was a little more than that. For some background, my major is in the College of Social Sciences, whereas Molly is double majoring in two deeply STEM-related fields. She is also trying to go to med school and graduate undergrad at least a year early, so she takes 20-plus credits a semester.
Oh my
And let me
gosh.
guess, she's got a superiority complex about that, doesn't she?
Oh my gosh.
That's my bet. Let's find out. I already knew all of this. She had always seemed vaguely judgy of how much work I had to do, which is 15 credits worth of classes, on track to graduate in 4 years, versus her workload of 24 credits worth of classes and labs, plus a highly involved internship with a lab on campus, and a schedule of regularly volunteering and working in the pediatric ICU at the hospital near our college, all in one semester, on track to graduate halfway through junior year, with plenty of padding for her resume and med school applications. But she is very busy, and I have always been understanding of this.
She looks down on you because she's very busy.
And low-key, she might be jealous. A couple of months ago, I had entered a contest to win a free $500 gift card from one of my favorite stores. I was excited about it, and admittedly, I did talk about it a lot with her when it was just the two of us in the room. However, the reaction she had to my face versus the one she had on her Finsta was like night and day. To my face, she was super excited for me. I even asked if I was talking about it too much, to which her response was, "No, of course not. I can tell you're excited about this." Here is a copy and paste with any personal details taken out of what she wrote on her Finsta. Quote, my roommate is talking about how stressed she is over this contest to win $500 at her favorite store. I'm like, bitch, I have had 3 exams and 2 quizzes this week. The fact that you even consider yourself stressed is laughable to me. I low-key want to follow the contest and beat her to it just so I can F up her day and make her realize this is nothing compared to what I have to deal with on a daily basis. If you want to help me F with her, the link to the contest is in my bio. Good luck.
Oh my gosh.
Man, hey girl, maybe you'd have more time for yourself if you weren't, I don't know, organizing targeted harassment campaigns for your roommate.
Yeah, you're doing all this other stuff and you get happy when you complain to other people about this. Whatever profession this woman's going into, hopefully this fence is linked to it, because whatever kind of
She wants to go to
personal
med school, bro.
I know, but still, wherever you go, 80% of your success is how you deal with people, I believe. I think it's very,
no, I think that's true.
and
Everywhere.
that has to be following you, because that's, I don't know, go write in your journal and burn it. Don't send it out to everyone. Yeesh.
Obviously. Reading this startled me. I considered us pleasant acquaintances at the very least, and I had been considering asking her if she wanted to live with me for our junior year, which would be her last year next fall. As far as I know, I have done nothing to her that would justify this kind of hatred, and she hasn't ever asked me to stop any of my behaviors or anything like that. I am completely blown away now, and am obviously not looking to room with her anymore. She told me when we were talking during the summer that she was bipolar and had a personality disorder, but I figured it wouldn't be a huge deal. I am now a little worried that she would actually mess with me in other ways, including academically, just to F up my day, as she said, and make me realize that what I do is nothing compared to her. Am I overreacting? I have already arranged a meeting with my RA without my roommate just to make her aware of these posts, so that there's a paper trail of these threats, which I don't know if that's what they should be considered, but I don't know what else to call them. Danielle also told me that she had my back if anything happened, and she sent me screenshots of all of the posts pertaining to me, which included timestamps and Molly's username, which show that she was the one making these posts and when they were made. I have also sent the screenshots to my boyfriend's phone for safekeeping just in case. I'm an anxious planner, can you tell? I guess I'm looking for any advice, words of wisdom, or even just a validation that I'm doing the right thing. And there's a quick edit here. Edit, I am not saying her mental disorders have anything to do with this. I just don't know if those disorders make it more likely for her to actually try to F up my day, as she said, rather than just talking about it. I don't believe that having mental disorders automatically means you're a bad person. And there are comments. Well, thank God.
I'm glad you talked to your RA. That's like, dude, as an RA back in the day for 1 year.
You're like, man, if people would have just come to me with their problems earlier, it's so much easier to fix
Nah,
them.
dude, my hole was pretty chill. I once had to deal with someone yakking in front of my door.
What did you do?
Someone just yacked in my door, and I went to the guy that did it, and I said, hey, do you know anything about it? And he's like,
Oh, you mean like yarf, like bleh. See, I thought you just meant there were 2 loud people talking outside your door.
no, not yapping, yak. Other than that, my floor was pretty chill.
Yak is actually a traditional form of yap. Did you know that?
I do
You heard
now.
this sort yakety yak?
Oh, wow.
Yakety yak, don't talk back.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm your yakety yak.
You are.
But he loves me, everybody.
Definitely get ahead of this as you can and request moving out, because I don't know. And then you could be fake to her and be like, I'm just moving out because I like want to be alone and like I think it's best for me. Like, la la la. Or be the bigger person. I actually follow your fence though.
Comments. I'm being harmless. Comment number 1, she's not making threats. She's stressed out due to her workload and unfairly taking out her stress on you by talking crap behind your back. Cut her out of your life. Show your RA the screenshots and get a new roommate ASAP. Do not talk to Molly. If she asks, just say, Insta. Don't make it into a big dramatic thing. Just get out of that toxic roommate situation. OP says, I have already lined up a friend of mine whose roommate is moving off campus for spring semester. However, we still have 2 to 3 weeks left, and this week is when our classes end and finals start. I'm honestly a little worried that she would mess with one of the many papers that I'm writing for classes. I have told her about one in particular, which is an article for one of my majors, required classes about research on our campus, which is 30% of my final grade. I've worked very hard on it, and I've asked her for help understanding some of the key concepts. I am not good at science or math subjects at all, so this project has been very hard on me. As it is, I'm currently going to the internet and my other STEM major friends to make sure she hasn't given me false information to make me fail my assignment. Comment 2 says, obviously, her post is way out of line, and you have every right to be upset that she was trying to mess with your chances. That said, her post actually seems a bit more about her than it is about you. Her desire to screw you out of the contest seems to be motivated by a desire to feel superior to you, not because she dislikes you or wants to hurt you.
Coda called it.
Did I?
You said it's a superiority complex.
Oh, yeah. It's just like, I'm better than you. And then also like, you got it easy. Usually this kind of mentality is due to some mix of being insecure and thus needing to prove to herself that she is superior, which is more or less born from insecurity anyways. Anyway, beating you at this contest is very different than actually trying to mess up something important in your life. I don't think you have that much to worry about from her, so long as you don't directly challenge her insecurities or... As an aside, what is a finsta exactly? Sorry, I'm kind of old, I guess. I was going to say, it feels like this OP is like really out of touch with the fact that like, yes, this isn't a big deal, but the level of energy she took to just be like, let's all collectively like make this person's life worse. It's like, yeah, that could ratchet up pretty rapidly. OP says, no worries. I honestly didn't know what a Finsta was until about 6 months ago when my little sister told me about hers. From what I can tell, a Finsta is a second account that you make private where you can talk about stuff and not worry about people judging you. Seems like a reaction to the fact that anything you say on the internet now can be seen by future employers and partners and professors, blah, 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 blah. So if you make a separate account that isn't linked to your primary one, you can post about stuff without fear of it being seen by the wrong people. I don't have a Finsta because in the field I hope to be employed in someday, pretty much anyone that wants to has the knowledge and drive to find anything you've ever written on the internet, whether it's connected to you or not. And I don't want to have to worry about that when potential employers run background checks on me, or if I became a semi-public figure where it could come back and bite me in the booty. And we have an update.
Oh, no.
Now, I know we've already talked about it, but Riley, do you have any, like,
I just hope you got out of
this?
This is wild. Dressing me out.
I think I kind of would. I know we had a comment in there that was like, don't talk to Molly about it.
Don't.
I kind of would.
Don't. No, she's literally does not care about you and she's fake to your face. There's nothing to salvage here. Just
it's not about,
get out of there.
I don't even think it's about trying to salvage it. It's more just like a confrontation like, hey, I found out you had that Finsta and you were posting about me, talking about the gift card? That's super whack. And
still not worth it.
Yeah. I don't know what is wrong, but I hope that you do better, but we're not living together anymore. And then from there, just be like, I have nothing left to say to you.
I don't think
I don't know.
It.
On a real level, yeah. And if she freaks out, you could probably get her moved out quicker.
It's 2 to 3 weeks. Just work in the library for 2 to 3 weeks. It's not worth it.
We have an update. Let's go ahead and get into it. I know not a lot of people commented on my original post, but I figured those of you who did take the time to give me advice, thanks, by the way, would be interested in what decisions I've made about the situation. I had a meeting with my RA on Sunday 4 days ago, and she told me my options, which I pretty much already knew. I decided that I would think about it for a few days and see how it was living with Molly and see if I could just turn the other cheek and then GTFO at the end of the year as I had originally planned. At first, I was doing really well. I was polite, but not overly friendly or oversharing, and she was the same way. But then the second we would stop talking to each other, she'd get on her phone. So far, Danielle has not told me about any other posts regarding me, but it still made me very anxious to the point where I would get nervous if she just checked a text. I realized that this was going to be how it was all semester if I continued to live with her. So I reached out to my friend, we'll call her Isabel, and asked if she was still up for me moving in with her. She was enthusiastic, and we started doing all the things we needed to do to officially move me into her room today. I've decided not to tell Molly the real reason I'm moving out. As a couple of you pointed out, she clearly has no problem with trying to do things to hurt me, and out of worry for my personal belongings, which she has complete access to until I move out, I have decided to tell her that Isabel's roommate is moving out spring semester, which is true, and that Isabel doesn't like the idea of living alone, and that she asked if I could move in with her, which is a little white lie. However, if she pushes me and tries to pry the real reason out, I'm going to tell her that I know, minus Danielle's involvement, and I will be asking the RA to mediate the move-out process so that she doesn't wreck any of my stuff, and as a final FU gesture. I also decided that to minimize the awkwardness of moving out, I'm not going to tell her this until Monday, 4 days from now, which will mean after I tell her, we will only have 3 full days together until I never have to see her again. Thank you guys so much for helping me. I think hearing everyone say that I was not in the wrong and that she's kind of cuckoo was the push I needed to make this move. Thanks for all the advice. Hopefully I never have to go through this again. There's a second update.
Oh my gosh. I think Molly doesn't really care about OP.
It's a good turn.
Like, all right, whatever. I got too much other stuff to do than to rather worry about you. I don't think she cares.
Yeah, I think it's going to be OP's trying to keep this thing locked down, but clearly OP has a lot of thoughts and feelings about it that she would like to share to Molly and get off her chest. And I think that that's just going to naturally leak out in a moment, and then everything's going to explode. Molly's going to go ballistic, and then OP will have a room all to herself.
How can you go ballistic when you volunteer with other people and you have such a huge workload? And
I
you're
think
doing
that might actually be why she
labs.
goes ballistic, is that she's spread so thin that now this is happening and she's being pressed on her Finsta, and she's like, no, but that's my thing and I'm right. and that's no one's supposed to know about. Ah, she's just gonna like. That's my guess. I hope I'm wrong. Update number 2. I just told her I'm moving out. She barely batted an eyelash and just said, "Okay, that's fine."
Called it.
Then, without skipping a beat, she said, "If you want to leave the fridge here for now, since it's so heavy, it's okay with me." I basically told her, "Oh, well, if it's still here when I move out, you'll get fined because they'll assume it's yours." Lie. And she was like, "Oh, dang, really? Then you should probably take it as soon as possible then." Thank you to everyone who helped me. I didn't end up even having to tell her about the Finsta post, which probably made it even easier. I don't know why, in retrospect, I was expecting a fight. If she didn't like me, which we know she didn't, she wouldn't exactly be fighting to get me to stay. But thank you guys. You were a big help. Hopefully this will be the last update.
Imagine like Molly comes back. I knew she wasn't gonna
Molly's
care.
a doctor somewhere, maybe.
She just looks down at
How
you.
old is this story? Is Molly out of med school yet?
No.
It is.
This is brand new. This is a freshie.
We should have her
It's from
follow
a
her.
while ago, yeah.
Hopefully this will be the last update, but you know what never has a last update is all of the episodes full of stories just like this on Spotify and iHeartRadio and Apple Podcasts, because we are constantly uploading more stories.
Every single day.
Almost 2,500 of them, and all you need to do to find them is search the name of our show, which is OK Storytime. We have some comments to finish the story. I say let's get into it. Comment number 1. Tell her the real reason, but leave telling her you're moving out until the last moment. Yeah, I think I was wrong on that. I think clearly it worked out the best by literally just telling her nothing and being like, this person is trouble, and I'm just going to get her out of my life. I don't need to explain to her why she's troublesome. What is that going to do? It's like explaining to the ocean why it's wet. Still the ocean. It's not going to change. OP said, I would like to do that, but I can't in good faith, as I own the mini fridge, the microwave, and the extension cord we use to plug in her TV. So she will need a bit of time to replace them before I leave. She will also probably question where all my stuff is gone by the end of the semester, as I'm going to be moving all my stuff out before the end of the semester, if it all goes the way it's supposed to. A reply says, girl, no! If you're worried about her screwing with you, and it really sounds like you are, you need to protect yourself. Also, please don't be so overly nice that you do her a favor that actually has potential to hurt you. Putting yourself first does not make you a bad person. Anyways, she's on campus where there's access to basically everything you need. So she'll survive 24 hours or so without your mini fridge or microwave. She could always get help from her friends if she really is in a pinch. You do not need to go out of your way to help someone who is actively crapping on you. I would wait until her max 24 hours before the move or the day of to protect yourself, your stuff, and to avoid her blowing up on you. I'm not saying to be an a-hole or anything, just to use common sense. Don't go out of your way to help someone who's happy to hurt you. Good luck with everything. I'm so glad you have a friend who you can move in with. And I agree with that comment.
Dang.
And that is the end of that story. I think there's a difference between, turning the other cheek and like actively being like, no, that's improper form for your slap. You want to really reach back. You want to bend the elbow 90 degrees, like get the explosive, like.
Yeah.
No, he was just turn the other way.
When you do turn the other cheek, you also have to defend yourself. It's not, I'm just waiting on it. I'm not going to do anything to protect myself. It's turning it. It's sort of like an eye for an eye makes the whole word blind.
Well, yeah, 'cause
if I punch you, I'm going to turn my cheek and I'm not going to punch you back. But I'm not going to let you keep punching me. I'm going to act in self-defense if I need to. But I'm not going to, 1 for 1 there. It's not how it works.